And we are recording. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How do you do?
Hello.
We have
Hello, everybody.
we have got Ilaria returning. Hello, madame. How do you do?
Hello. Here everything is well. How is how is everyone else? How are you guys?
Yeah, well,
Good.
getting by day. It's about as most as you can expect during these interesting times.
Yep.
The question mark. I love the
Uh-huh.
fact that you're here, Ilaria, because it really feels like we're taking turns with the DC films. It's like
Yeah.
one week you're here, and then at least one film you're here. The next film, OD takes over. Then you're back. It's like there's only so much DC that a person can take in before needing
Yeah.
therapy.
Yeah.
We
I'm
need a
happy to be
break.
here.
We we are all gonna need therapy after this, especially after we watch the 4 hour long Justice League.
Yes, that's in a few days.
We're
Ooh,
gonna need some therapy.
jeez, like genuinely, I'm still not sure how to tackle that in conversation form. Oh,
Probably like do like an hour at a time.
I
So
was
like maybe
thinking
like over a couple of weeks, just every Sunday, or even if you want to do it during the week, we could just like
now let's take Sundays at a time,
oh
rotate the
yeah,
guests so that they have
yeah,
resting
breaks.
time. Sub people in, sub people out. We got to be really strategic about how we tackle Justice League.
hmm You guys are
Boy.
getting insights on how we run this podcast now.
Oh shit! Yeah, we're recording. Um, but yeah, we'll figure it out. Like depending on how today goes, I'll have a much more of a solid idea on how to go through Justice League with everyone. Because I have a rough idea, but after today, I'll know for sure.
Woohoo! I'm excited.
Yeah, me too, in a weird way. Now I can just put it to bed and say, right, I'm done. Just leave me alone now, comic book films. I need a break. Right, so, as is tradition, what have you guys watched this past week? Tell me, tell me, tell me.
Do you want to go first, Ilaria, since you're the guest?
I can do. I've started High Fidelity, the TV show, not the film.
Ooh,
Um,
ooh,
it's so good. Uh,
ooh.
I would recommend it absolutely to anyone, especially if you love music. So good. It reminded me a bit of Fleabag on the style.
Oh, cool.
But it's not like Fleabag is a masterpiece. This is a little bit
It's very
different,
good. Yeah.
but I still like it. It's so good. It's on Disney Plus in Europe, so it's easy to find.
Ooh.
What else have I been watching? Oh, Grey's Anatomy came back this week.
Oh, it
Uh,
did. I forgot about that. I need to watch that still.
I'm not gonna say anything then.
Okay, please.
No,
Yes.
but so I watched that. But if you do watch it, I recommend you watch. It's a crossover episode, so you should definitely
Oh,
watch for this one the episode of Station 19.
yeah, I will do.
Yeah, because otherwise you get in and you're like, wait, what happened?
Yeah,
Uh,
I hate it when they do that.
yeah. What else? Yesterday night I watched the film Ingrid Goes West,
Oh,
which
right, how is it?
Nice. Is it good?
it's very good. It's very creepy, but it's very good.
Mm.
Aubrey Plaza is very good in it, and I've enjoyed it. I mean, it was definitely interesting, and it's definitely showing a side of social media that is, in my opinion, very. People don't talk much about this side of social media. Let's say it like that.
Cool.
Yeah,
Sounds interesting.
that's about it.
Awesome.
And what about yourself, Bandicoot?
I watched another episode of Violet Evergarden and then needed to take another break because that episode destroyed me too.
Oh,
I didn't cry, but I was like, I'm sad now. I need cat videos.
episode 11, right?
Yeah,
The soldier one.
yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, Oh, it was the bit that got me was just when Violet broke down and was like, I couldn't save him. I was just like, oh,
Oh, in front of the
well,
parents, yeah.
yeah. I was like, oh, I need a break now.
Oh, Violet Evergarden destroying
It's very
psyches
good.
since 2018.
Yeah. I am really enjoying it though. Like, it's so good. I recommend
Fantastic.
if fans of anime just need to watch it because it's so good.
But just fans of media, I would say it is so well
Yeah.
written.
Fans of stories, just watch it.
Yeah.
What else did
I'm
I watch?
adding it to my list.
Do it. But also have lots of tissues with you when you watch it because it is very sad.
Okay.
Copious
Good to know.
tissues.
Literally, when I first watched it, like the one of the episodes in particular is really really sad. I messaged Dylan and I was like, I watched episode 10. Why?
And I was like, oh, so you're crying right now, aren't you? Or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
What else did I watch? I watched some more Drag Race, the US version. That was pretty standard Drag Race. All the drag queens looked awesome. What else did I watch? I watched something else, I don't remember. Oh, I watched Annie with Mikey for the first time because he's never seen it before and he was like transfixed. So I was like, this is pretty cool.
nice.
Which
Yeah.
version? The
I've forgotten. I think it's the original one. It wasn't the remake.
We don't speak about the Jamie Foxx version.
It
Yeah,
wasn't that one.
yeah.
No, it wasn't the Jamie Foxx. No, it was the proper, like, the original Annie.
Good.
You have Ilaria's seal of approval with
Yeah.
that choice.
Yeah,
He,
because
he chose it on his own. He was going through Netflix and he was just like, I'm gonna watch this. And I was like, it's a good choice.
yeah, indeed.
Nice.
Yeah,
Your boy's got taste. I approve.
he do. He caught me watching Batman versus Superman and he was like, oh, that's cool. No, it was the bit where I think he shoots Krypton gas at him.
Oh,
I'm
right,
like,
yeah.
he just started laughing his head off, and I was just like, I'm glad you think it's funny.
Oh, we'll get to that eventually.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much what I watched this week.
Sweet. Well, watched Alita again, and I was even happier with it this time round. It's like, oh, I like this film. It's good. Well, relatively speaking, it has issues, but I'm like, oh, I like this film. It's adorable. What else did I watch? BVS, understandably so. All 3 glorious hours of it.
Yeah.
And I watched. Oh, rather than watch, I. Oh yeah, actually, yesterday I watched the Netflix film White Tiger, and that was phenomenally good. So
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah,
high
it's like
recommendations there.
I know, right? Uh, but yeah, it's like you guys have seen Slumdog Millionaire, right?
yeah.
Years ago, but yeah.
Cool. White Tiger is like the actual version of how it would happen. Instead
Oh,
of like
cool.
Okay.
the slightly romanticized way of Slumdog Millionaire, it's like White Tiger is like, holy shit, like this is what actually happens in large spaces of India, and I'm like, fucking hell. How they actually managed to get the film made without anyone getting, mysteriously disappearing. I'm like, how did you manage this? Very powerful film. So yeah. And then played loads of Final Fantasy VII.
Oh yeah. Nice. Are you
I'm,
liking it?
I'm up to chapter 7, I think. I'm about to blow up the Ark, the
Oh, nice.
big reactor. And
Yeah.
I'm 50-50 on it. I love the characters. I
Yeah.
do think that even though that this is a really big expansion on the original game, it still feels very rushed in the progression of events.
Yeah.
And the gameplay, the actual fighting in it is very unintuitive, especially when you combine it with the spastic camera sometimes.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, like all in all though, it's a positive experience. But I
that's
do
good.
have a lot of issues with it as well.
I was kind of thinking you might, especially with the story, because there are some changes. I won't say.
Yeah, it's like it's very Tetsuya Nomura. I will give it that.
Yeah, you can tell he made this game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's got his fingerprints all
Anyway,
over.
yeah,
But yes, this is
video game
our
tangent.
yeah. I'll let you know when I finish it in
Oh,
totality.
do it.
But yes, we're on our penultimate stop in our DC excursion prior to Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yep.
Oh boy. Okay, so before we start, I would like to know what your thoughts are, having spoken as much as we have about the films up until this point. And before we have this conversation, what are your thoughts going into this conversation? Anyone can talk,
Like,
by the way.
like, what do you mean? Like, do you mean as like the films we've watched as a whole, or just this film?
No, I mean, like, because we've spoken in depth about all of these films, how do you, what are your thoughts on Batman v Superman before we start this conversation?
Um, it's a movie.
It exists.
It exists.
I get that
Um,
feeling.
I don't really know what to say. Like, leading up to the film, like, it seems to have, I guess, set up Superman in a way pretty well. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what to say really about it before talking about it, if that makes any sense.
It's like, what are your raw, brief thoughts? Like, has it changed since you first saw it? Has your feelings changed on it, rather?
Um, I don't hate it. Like, I thought I was gonna hate it, but I don't hate it. But at the same time, I have lots of issues with it. Like, as I was watching, I was just like rolling my eyes at certain parts, and I was just like, ugh. And some parts I genuinely laughed, but I don't think I laughed for the reasons they wanted me to laugh, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, I get you. Cool.
But I guess so. Technically, yeah, I guess my feelings have changed because I was like actually angry after I watched it last time, and this time I was just kind of like, it wasn't actually that bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't that bad.
Cool. And Ilaria, how do you feel about BVS?
I went in the first time I watched it. I didn't really like it. I found it a bit boring. So the second time I watched it, and also after having discussed pretty in depth Wonder Woman, my expectations were very, very low.
Yeah.
So I guess this is maybe why I felt indifferent to it by the end of it. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. For sure, I didn't love it. But yeah, I thought, all right. I do have to say that I fell asleep during it, and then
I was gonna say I was playing The Sims while watching it. To be fair.
yeah. So like I think I fell asleep around the 1 hour and a half mark. So then I have to. When I woke up, I went back and I was like, "Yeah, I've seen this. No, I haven't seen this," and I put it on again. But
Just so I know for context, Ilaria, did you watch the 3 hour cut or the 2.5 hour cut?
2.5 hour cut.
Okay,
Okay.
so we are using the 3 hour for the baseline, so we'll fill in any
That's okay.
context that you may not have, but that is the cut we are using
Yeah.
just because it's everything, so that we can just rip everything apart.
Yeah, it's got like additional story beats and stuff like that.
Yeah, no worries. I thought about watching that and I was like, do I wanna inflict this pain to myself? I was like, no.
That is completely fair. After Wonder Woman, I don't blame you.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I don't know if it's because we spoke so much about it, like, Amy, you've been on this journey with me, but as it stands, this is before the conversation, so it could absolutely change. Right now, BVS is actually on the top of the lot in terms of writing in a really weird
okay.
way, because none of the other films made a lot of sense, and this one was at least coherent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
So,
give it that.
in a weird way, before we start the conversation, BVS is at the top of the pile, and I did not think I'd be saying that before Wonder Woman.
Yeah, and we were joking, like saying that imagine if BVS is actually the best one.
Oh my god.
I still vote for Shazam as the best one.
No,
Yes.
I'm. What we mean by that is until this part in the journey. So Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman
Oh yeah,
84, Man of Steel,
Yeah.
BVS. Um,
then for sure BVS.
I know it's
Yeah.
a mad, mad journey we've been on.
hmm
Right.
Let's never do it again.
Oh god, yeah. We were planning on doing the X-Men after this, weren't we? So
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
get to talk about Logan. I cannot
Yeah,
wait for that. Right. So shall we get this turd started?
let's do it.
I say turd. I actually really like this film, despite my millions of issues. So we start with the opening of the credit sequence where we get to see Batman's origins all over
Again.
again.
I think that at this point it's like we've seen this about 3 times. Get on with it. We know they die. Come on.
Yeah. I guess at least I'm glad it's just the first couple of minutes and it's out the way.
Yeah,
Boom, let's get on with it, as opposed to 20 whole minutes leading up to it, like Batman Begins.
yeah. I noticed the start of a pattern of using lots of slow motion in this film.
Yeah.
You know,
So much slow motion.
in a weird way, I remember there being more slow motion, but when I watched it this time around, I was like, this. It wasn't as much slow motion as I remember it being, but there
No,
is a lot.
there is a lot, and sometimes it's like, why is it slow? Why is this part slow?
The
Like, I'll get
celestial
into it when we
visual,
talk
though.
about it. Yeah, I mean, I'll give it this one. In the credit sequence, obviously, it makes more of an emotional impact to see Martha's pearls break in slow motion.
Hmm.
So I have no issue with that. I just noticed that this is the start of him being like, ooh, slow motion.
No, I think the start of that was 300.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's true.
I think this is the first time in the
I mean,
DC
in this
world where
film,
he
yeah,
went, I'm gonna bring the slow mo back. Because Man of Steel, there
yeah,
was none of it.
yeah, there wasn't. So it was...
But I
I
love.
noticed it this
Oh,
time.
go on.
I was just saying I noticed it more this time.
Absolutely, yeah. But I love the fact that even though this is like 30 years prior to the point where things are happening, Alfred still looks the same. And I'm like, Alfred should be like in his 30s at this point.
Yeah, Alfred is legit my favorite character in this
Oh
movie.
my god, I
Yeah,
love Jeremy
mine
Irons as
too.
Alfred.
Yeah.
Like,
I
I
just love him.
sassy Alfred is best Alfred.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he's very much similar to the cartoon Alfred because there's a episode of Batman the animated series, and there's a bit where
Hmm.
Alfred goes, "I've drawn you a bath set," and then he goes, "What the heck, Alfred? The bath's empty." And he just pulls up a picture and goes, "I told you I drew a bath," and I could just see Jeremy Irons doing that.
Oh god.
I
Like,
was getting them vibes from him.
absolutely. And even. I actually even like Sean Pertwee in Gotham as Alfred as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, I
Like,
like him in that too.
it's like this one constant. I always like Alfred, regardless of the Batman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like every iteration of Alfred's been quite good.
It's a good
Absolutely.
character. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jeremy Irons, I mean,
Oh, how can you go
I
wrong?
haven't seen, yeah, I haven't seen a movie where I was like, no, Jeremy Irons is not the right
Yeah.
casting for this.
That's
Yeah.
what, like, he can be in Dungeons and Dragons,
And
Assassin's
he'll
Creed,
fit right in.
Lolita, or even this, and it's like, regardless of the quality of the film, you'll have a good time watching Jeremy
Yeah.
Irons.
He also pops up in an episode of SVU, so and he fits in that too.
I
Oh
mean,
my god.
he races with antique cars as well. Like in real life, he races with
Mm,
antique cars.
He's just a cool dude.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, he should be in everything
He should.
Yeah.
alongside Henry Cavill. Just just the two of them talking in a restaurant. I will watch that. um, we've all kind of understood what the death of the Waynes is all going on about. So this is really
Yeah.
retreading a lot of the things that happen. I suppose the most interesting part that's not related to the death of the Waynes is gonna be symbolism, because there is a lot of it in this film. Like, holy
Yeah.
shit, there's a lot of symbolism in this film.
Yeah, Schneider likes his symbolism.
Yeah, and that's all right. I
Yeah.
don't mind your symbolism, but when you don't have context to the symbolism, that's where I think it becomes very detrimental towards the quality of the film, because you're expecting
I
the
agree.
symbolism to tell a story, and that never works.
Yeah, it's
Learn
yeah.
from experience.
Excuse me.
But I think I brought this up in the Man of Steel video as well. But I'm glad you're here, Ilaria, because I brought up Polaroid, and I was talking
Yeah.
about, yeah, I put a lot of references and hoped it would substitute as storytelling, and that was a good learning experience because I was like, yeah, that doesn't work just because I wanted it to. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what a lot of this feels like in terms of storytelling, where it's like they were hoping the metaphor or the reference would do a lot of the storytelling as opposed
Yeah.
to the actual storytelling in
Yeah,
I
terms
that
of
agree.
writing.
Yeah.
yeah, that doesn't work. That just kind of I mean, you don't want to spoon feed your audience, but you don't want your audience to be sitting there like with equations trying to figure out what this means.
Yeah, especially when someone's not privy to that reference to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But I have
Mhm.
to say, the beginning, the intro, the beginning opening credits, I really like that sequence. Like
Yeah.
cinematically, I think it was very
Yeah,
good.
it was
I
incredibly
liked
shot.
it. I was like, "Ooh, this is pretty." Uh, yeah, I have no gripes with it. It looked good.
Yeah.
I think it
Um,
was just like, "Oh, they die again."
yeah, it was aesthetically pleasing to look at, and plus the
Yes.
score was just
Oh, the music in this film's really good.
I
I
know it's
liked
Yeah.
like
it.
Hans Zimmer crossed with Junkie XL. It's like fucking orgasmic. I love it. And no joke, the song that they played during the Wayne's death is my favorite musical score in almost any film.
Awesome.
I've listened to it
I
so
can
many
see why.
times. So now when they
Nice.
use it in Wonder Woman 84 in a
Yeah,
completely
you're
out of
right.
context situation, I'm like,
Oh
holy
yeah,
shit.
not cool.
Yeah. But yes, Bruce falls down the whatchamacallit and he rises. Um, Metaphorically, I like what they do here. Because it's
Yeah.
like, oh, Bruce Wayne falls, and what comes out of the darkness is Batman, that kind of thing. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of
It's
cool.
cool.
But when I saw this the first time at opening night, I was like, what the fuck's going on?
Like he's
Like, why is he
literally
floating? Is this a
flying.
dream?
Yeah. I was watching that like, is this a dream? And then it is turns out to be a dream.
Yeah. Because I was like, oh, can Batman fly without using anything? And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, is he using the maelstrom of the bats? Because imagine if that's his max speeds flying. It's like, he's not going to get anywhere
Yeah.
with that. But yeah, metaphorically, visually, I really like that image. That's kind of what I've been reduced to in terms of these films, like praising the
Just
visuals,
like
which is so
yeah.
incredibly superficial, and the
Yeah.
music.
I mean, it looked cool, but I was like, he could have literally just climbed out and it would have served the same sort of like symbolic
Yeah.
um,
purpose, I guess.
as long as the bats were involved in that
Yeah,
climbing process.
that's what I mean. Like, if the bats were flying around him as he was climbing out, that could still serve the same thing rather than having him literally float.
Hmm.
And it
Okay.
could still be a dream. Or it could be like a flashback for him,
Yeah.
like a recurring memory or something.
This is one of the
But
few times. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, but obviously he wanted the stylistic. Ooh, look, he's floating.
Hmm. And more Jesus imagery. There's a lot
Yeah,
of Jesus imagery in these films. Um, but yeah, I'm. This is one of the few times you'll ever hear me say this, but one of the few good things about The Dark Knight Rises is like the moment he succeeds in the really Tismy prison is when the bats
yeah,
come out and it's like, ah, Batman, and then he jumps,
yeah,
grabs holds. So could have been something similar, but then it's like
yeah,
just how much do you want to steal from Christopher Nolan at this point?
yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Mm. So now, after he floats away, we come
As you do.
to the battle for Metropolis.
Woo!
And
With the big old thing that's changing the earth.
Yeah, the terraformer. And a lot of my big criticisms of this film is related to in hindsight, considering the proximity of um, Gotham to Metropolis, which is right across the way. It's
Yeah.
like, why wasn't Batman
Gotham,
coming,
yeah.
and why wasn't Wonder Woman present? Like,
Yeah.
these are two questions I would have really liked to have known the answers to.
Yeah, like
I
what
think
would
Wonder
they
Woman was in France.
Was she?
possibly? I don't know.
Because I think at one point they show her in France, or it's just I don't know why. Maybe I'm convinced that she's in France for some reason. I don't know.
Well, we are combing through every frame of this film, so we'll find out.
Oh, well.
um, that
I
would
get
make a little
why.
bit more sense.
Yeah. I get why they had to have Bruce Wayne there, but I was like, it just kind of feels like, oh, look, he's conveniently in the same place.
For the context of the film, I do think that seeing everything from
It
Bruce
needs
Wayne's
to be.
perspective is incredibly vital.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I get it. Just for me, I was just like, it just seems coincidental. And I know he needs to be there because obviously he needs to see the damage and have a grudge against Superman for them to have a fight.
I mean, I didn't really have an issue with him being there primarily because of the fact that there is a Wayne Enterprises building in Metropolis
Yeah.
itself. So
I suppose it made sense. Just for me, I was just like, it just seems really coincidental, and I don't know. It just irritated me a little bit. I don't know why.
fair enough. If it irritates you, it irritates you. You can't help that.
Yeah, I can't really choose how I feel about it, but I do see why it was there, but it just irritated me, and I don't know why.
That's fair. And what about you, Ilaria? What did you think of this opening destruction segment?
I was like, okay. I mean, I was like, okay, he's there, but I mean, he could have helped in a way because he's just there looking, and you're like, okay, I get it. You need to see the distraction because you need to be angry at Superman, and you need, and we need to like the audience need to understand that there was collateral damage in when Superman saved people because he's super strong and this and that. Okay. But I was like, I was a bit annoyed at the fact that, Bruce Wayne is just there looking around, just having a walk out and just having a look. But more than having a walk, having a car sequence, car chase sequence type of thing that felt a lot like Fast and Furious.
I get what you mean.
So for a second, I was like, oh, wait. Now Gal Gadot is gonna pop out on a motorbike, and this is gonna be Fast and Furious, and they're gonna.
Oh my god, it's gonna be
I'd
Brazil all
watch
over
that.
again.
I'd watch
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Because I really didn't have any issue with him, because he was heading towards the Wayne Enterprises building the entire time, wanted to make sure that everyone was safe. So him stopping by and having a look really doesn't surprise me all that much, primarily because of the fact that it's a complete unknown and Batman's all about that preparation. So when unknown quantities are in the equation, like we see him preparing loads for the eventual fight against Superman, which we get to in about 6 years' time, but in terms of build up, but I didn't have an issue with him not doing anything immediately after getting to Metropolis because no one knew what was happening. So I'm okay with that. One of my big issues is the fact that why the fuck does Jack just stay in the building instead of running with everyone else?
Yeah, like he just conveniently stands there and just like, well, I guess I'm gonna go down with this building.
Yeah, and it's like, but why?
Why don't you run?
But yeah, it turns out that was the building that Zod cut in half. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I kind of in a really weird, awkward way, I like how they're overcompensating for the human perspective in this battle, because it's like, okay, we kind of get that Man of Steel went a bit overboard with the destruction, so okay,
Yeah.
there are consequences. We admit that. There are consequences. Here you go.
Yeah. I do kind of like that. Like, it's kind of like, look, these are the people that were murdered. Well, killed.
So, yeah, as far as execution goes, well, I don't know why Jack was up there. Setting up Batman's motivation, I thought was really solid so far.
Yeah, it was good motivation.
I guess from a practical point of view, Batman running into the smoke, I'm like, oh, so he's gonna die in a couple of weeks from like
Yeah.
toxicity in
Inhalation.
his blood from running
Yeah.
into that. Because if we're going to be invoking 9/11 in terms of visuals, well, a lot of the first responders ended up getting incredibly sick from, debris inhalation and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So,
And then when he lifts the pillar, I always
Yeah.
thought of Jean Valjean on the Mise, and in my head it was like he's gonna do it, and in my head the music they played was da da. So yeah,
yeah.
that was what was going on in my head at that point.
Nice. I mean, hey, you don't really need a reason to think about the songs from Les Mis, so
Yeah.
right. So he helps pull. Oh my god! I just had a bit of lime cordial, and it stuck my face into my mouth.
Oh dear.
But he saves Wally, and next he sees a little gremlin, a little human gremlin, just standing still while a huge fucking pillar's about to fall on her, and I'm like,
I know.
you can't move. Please move.
Yeah.
Do anything.
And I always love that. You always have kids that just stand there and look at their impending doom like, oh no, I'm going to be squashed.
Yeah, it's just like, fucking hell, guys. But yeah, and then she's like, oh my god, my mom was in the building all along, and the building's like cut in half and stuff like that going on. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, so far, up until this point, we've had Bruce Wayne's parents' death. Fine with that. And Bruce Wayne's motivation for fighting Superman in this film setup. I'm also fine with that. So, up until this point, 10 minutes into the film, don't have much in terms of anything being incredibly broken.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
I can agree with that. Nothing's broken yet.
and I think this is the fastest we've ever come to the 10-minute point in any
Yeah.
of these films.
So it's doing well with its beginning at least.
Yeah. And it sucks knowing that the rest of the film exists, because there's such a
Yeah.
solid start.
Like I said, I was a bit irritated by Bruce Wayne being there, but like I can understand why, and I still like thought it was a really good opening and like setup. So yeah, it's really disappointing that the rest of the film doesn't quite.
Live up to the
there's
same standard.
Yeah, there's a film in there somewhere.
Yeah,
Gotta coax it out.
like, I remember after finishing this film at opening night, me and a couple of friends went out, and it's like, I think my exact words were, it felt like they were trying to make a chocolate cake, and they had all the right ingredients, but they put it all in the wrong order and left it in the oven for a bit too long, and it ended up
Yeah.
becoming a mess.
Yeah,
Amazing description. Yeah.
that
Well,
sounds like what happens when I try to cook.
well, when you come here for two things: us and the food-based analogies relating to film.
Yep.
Right. So next we got a sweet brown bro 18 months later digging up kryptonite from the Indian Ocean.
Yeah.
Yay.
Woo.
So once again, I really don't have an issue with this scene, primarily because of the fact that kryptonite is thing, they're probably going to be going through the wreckages anyway. So them
Yeah.
finding this, no issue. And the fact that
Makes
they're
sense.
looking for debris, also no issue.
Yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense. I mean, it was like an alien craft, so obviously they're gonna try and learn as
Harvest it
much
for
as they
all it's
can from it.
worth.
Yep, basically. Makes sense so far.
Yeah.
Good job,
Yeah.
film, on being coherent.
And next comes Africa. And I'm not gonna lie, all the way back in 2016, when I first saw this film, I was like, this entire subplot relating to Africa could have been ripped from the film and it would not have made a difference.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because the Africa subplot serves a particular purpose, and that is to show the world through Lex Luthor's eyes, because hey, it turns out he was behind it,
Yeah.
that Superman is an evil man. And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, cool. So you're creating more situations where Superman is depicted in a bad light. Fair. But
Yeah.
see, here's the thing. The equivalent of 9/11 times 1,000 happened in Metropolis. You're
Yeah.
good. You're good for evidence for treating Superman as an evil man. There's plenty to
Yeah.
go off there. There's no
Like,
need for this.
yeah, there's already like radicalists against him anyway after
Yeah.
what happened, so it's like you don't really need to go out of your way to create more incidents. Or he does in the end anyway, because he like creates more situations where he's like seen in a bad way
Mm,
after that. So you really don't need Africa because it's you can still make him look bad because he goes on to make him look bad in the rest of the film.
absolutely. And human prejudice is a very real thing. You could just have loads of people just be against Superman specifically for the fact that he was the same race as the people that tried to blow
Yeah,
up the planet anyway. So,
Yeah.
exactly.
um, this entire subplot felt incredibly unnecessary, and a lot of that, I'm sure, has to do with the fact that they wanted Lois Lane to be in the film in some capacity, and
Yeah,
she needed something to do.
yeah. I think they also wanted it to set up that basically if Lois Lane's killed, Superman will just lose his shit.
Yeah, which, fine. This is true. He will.
Yeah, she could have been put in danger in any other capacity, and it still could have showed the same issue of look, if Lois Lane's like in trouble, he gon' get mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, also, in the extended cut, Ilaria, the
Yeah.
photographer dude is Jimmy
Oh
Olsen.
yeah. Yeah, he gets a
Oh,
proper
really?
Yep.
intro.
And
Yeah.
he gets shot in the face later.
Yeah.
Ah,
And I think
that's a pity. I mean,
yeah, because the logic that Zack Snyder gave was that this is so much of a large world that we needed to establish that even big characters like Jimmy Olsen could be expendable in this universe. And I'm like, I get the sentiment, I do, but why though? It becomes so inconsequential. Like,
Yeah. It's like, oh no, he dead now. Why did you even put him in this film if you gon' kill him?
I do love the fact that the guy is in Resident Alien now. I love it.
oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
he's
nice.
in the last episode that I watched of Resident Alien, Jimmy Olsen plays another doctor, and I'm like, oh hell yeah!
Nice.
Like he's got a real name, but I just keep calling him Jimmy Olsen because of the memes.
Fair.
So what were you gonna say, Laura?
I don't remember. I thought it was a pity, like that they didn't properly introduce Jimmy Olsen. I mean, I like him as a character.
Hmm.
Yeah. I can't remember. Did they even like mention that it's Jimmy Olsen in the theatrical cut?
Not in the theatrical cut.
No, they don't even mention his name.
Yeah,
No,
That's
because I
pretty
didn't know.
crap.
that's why I
Yeah,
had to say
like
to
that's why I was
Ilaria
asking.
that this is who that character is.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't sure because I watched the theatrical release like years ago. Like I watched it 2016 and then never watched it again.
So, yeah. Like, I do admire the extended cut quite a bit because, like, as opposed to the absolutely chopped to pieces version we saw in the cinema, this one makes some amount of sense.
Yeah,
And I'm like, oh, if only the rating boards and the time management people were on it a little bit better. Because a lot of the things that they cut in the theatrical cut things that were vital for the plot, and I'm like, why the fuck would you cut that, you idiot?
Yeah.
But yes, this entire Africa subplot, as far as I'm concerned, could be completely removed, and nothing would change. The only thing that would change is Lois's involvement in the story.
Yeah. She'd just be there chilling.
Yeah.
She can still function though as a thing in the story without this subplot because she's still kind of vital for the rest of the story a little bit.
She's still investigating Lex Luthor in a great
Yeah.
capacity.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, it's mental. But I love the first question she asks the guy as well. It's like, "Are you a terrorist?" And I'm like, "Well, okay."
He's gonna sit down and be like, "Do you know what? I am."
Now that I've had a soul-searching moment after you asked that question, I think I am. Like, fucking hell. Although I do like... I'm sorry?
No, I was saying that sometimes with the dialogue, I was absolutely cringing.
Oh,
yeah, I was rolling my eyes. I was
Yeah.
literally like, what the fudge?
A lot of the dialogue in this film is atrocious.
It's awful.
But I do like that when she is talking to the terrorist bro, I'm gonna call him. It's like he says, "They did not tell me that that it was going to be a woman," and she goes, "I'm not a woman. I'm a reporter."
Yeah. I'm just like, you know, you can be both, right?
Yeah.
I did think, oh, feisty Lois. Okay, so we're back on track. Cool. But that's about it.
Yeah.
And then, like, Jimmy Olsen just does not help himself because he starts using the camera, and I'm like, okay, so if your tracker is in the camera, the last thing you want to do is draw attention to it.
Yeah. Just hide it behind your back, or I don't know, just hold it to your side. Don't make it obvious, you dummy.
Yeah. And then when the white guy from 300 came along, I was like, hey, you're not African. And then it's like, oh, wait, South Africa's a place. Maybe he is African.
Yeah.
But that's a complete aside. But in the comics, Anatoly is the KG Beast, who is like Russian Batman.
Oh.
So, yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because this film does such a great job explaining his characters. Like, I'm being really salty with this film. Like, guys, understand, I actually do really like this film. But like I said, I can explain all of his flaws. So yeah, he takes out the camera, strips it down, finds the tracker, and exposes Jimmy Olsen, which I'm fine with. But my next big issue comes with Terrorist Bro, who, after knowing that Jimmy Olsen is a CIA liaison, you don't kill the middleman of the CIA. That's the easiest way to start, a fight. And the guy just shoots him anyway, and I'm like, oh, well, you're gonna have a firefight in your hands now. Congratulations. So, after he is killed, a little bit more from the extended cut, Ilaria, is that... Oh my god, the Bandicoot will be back soon. But there is an extended sequence of the terrorists, well, the white bros rather, in the encampment start killing everyone else in the camp and start burning their bodies.
Wow.
Yeah, and the reasoning why is because they want to frame Superman in a way that he came to save Lois, and that's where the next scene comes in, where the woman is talking to Congress, where she's saying, oh, so Superman came, saved the woman, and then left, and after that the government came in and killed everyone else. So this helps set up the argument of the core thesis of this film, which is how does Superman decide who to save and who not to save, and that's where the crux of it is, where it's like, oh, hey, Superman saved Lois, but not all the villagers from being killed by the government. after he comes and does his thing. So that's where that big argument comes from, and that's just missing in the theatrical cut.
Yeah, I was wondering why that, like, I was wondering, I mean, that if it was missing a scene, because I thought maybe they just cut it for time, because the movie was already 2 hours and a half. So I was like, maybe they cut it for that reason. But yeah, I did feel like something was missing there before that speech.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the context of the film as well, if you are going to be having this Africa segment and having this overly complicated plan, to leave out such a vital detail towards the comprehension of the film is, I think it's what academics like to call stupid.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, it's like a proper decent like minute and a half long segment where everyone gets killed, everyone gets burnt and stuff like that going on, and Lois reacting to the carnage and stuff like that. But yeah, it's all missing in the theatrical cut, and it goes straight to the woman talking in Congress.
Yeah.
Which is a choice. Not a good one, but it is a choice.
Which scene are we on now? I'm sorry, Mikey started having a tantrum then, so I had to sort him out.
Oh, that's fine.
No worries.
So we literally just finished talking about the missing scene in Africa where they try to frame Superman for not saving everyone except for Lois.
Gotcha.
So we're starting the Congress scene with the African woman talking to Elastigirl.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I immediately was just like, it's Elastigirl.
Yeah. Elastigirl is very good in this film, but I'm like, I only see you as Elastigirl, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Like, every time she speaks, it's just like, oh, now I want to watch Incredibles.
Which is, I don't know if you know this, but Incredibles is a slightly better film than Batman v Superman.
Just a tad. Just a tiny bit. Just a little bit.
And we also get the introduction of Mercy Gray, if I remember the name correctly. Mercy, who is Lex Luthor's second in command.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so I liked how Okamoto, but also I love the character of Mercy because she's essentially what Harley is to Joker, Mercy is to Lex. And I really love that dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we all know what happens to her later on, with her doing jack shit in this film. That kind of pisses me off.
It pissed me off too. It was just kind of like, no, she was... Why did you send her in there?
It's like, Lex, do you not care about your second in command just getting blown up by a bomb? It's like, oh, you fucking idiot.
I think it was to just set up how much of a bad person Lex is.
I mean...
Yeah, I guess.
I suppose, but there's... By that point, like, we're well off at the moment, but there's plenty of evidence to support that he is a terrible person anyway, because at this point, Lois is well into her investigation. And plus, Bruce Wayne is like, oh, Lex is bringing in this, and it's like, it's kind of bad, but I want it, so it helps me. It's like... So we already know Lex is a piece of shit. Everyone knows, but it's like... It's, needless death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But oh, also, did you guys find it odd how often they used the word unilateral in this film?
Didn't notice, to be honest. No, I didn't notice, but apparently, if I watch it again, I probably won't be able to not notice it.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
But yeah, every time Elastigirl was talking about Superman, she's always like, oh, he can save people, but he can't act unilaterally, and she keeps saying the word over and over again, and I'm like, holy shit, you need to find a thesaurus, guys.
Use a different word, Jesus.
Because even the first time I watched it, I was like, the fact that they're saying it so often, I get for emphasis, for repetition's sake, but to say it so often without adding much
twice
beyond it, It's like, oh, okay, vocabulary is kind of low.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I didn't notice it really.
You are welcome. But yeah, next we've got the introduction of Batman, and from a superficial point of view, I do love how they film it like a horror film.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, I know. I was like, oh, are we watching a horror movie now? Cool.
Yeah, because like Batman, when he gets down and dirty, can be a pretty horrific character to come
Oh
across in the
yeah.
middle of the night. So I love they took this angle with it.
Uh, I mean, that was the whole point, wasn't it, though, to be scary to criminals.
Hmm.
So I really do like that choice. I thought it was good. Good way of introducing him and introducing like the fear around all the people have for him, especially because he's like what 30 years into being Batman now.
20, 30 years, yeah.
20, 20, 30 years. So like at this point, he's a well-known entity like among criminals, and it's really well done, I think.
So this is why, like, a lot of people say, do you know what? We'd love to see Zack do a solo Batman film and do
Yeah.
this whole horror aspect of it, but well, we're never gonna get that film now. But
Oh no. That'd be cool though.
yeah, absolutely. Because
Be
one
cool.
thing, one thing I really like about this film is how well they execute Batman and Alfred, and I kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
wish we got more of that in this universe, or at least with Zack doing a solo Batman film.
I agree.
I agree. I would watch that.
Yeah. Now the two cops, Burton and Ernie, is just ridiculous because
Yeah.
fucking hell. These okay, so Batman has been active for about 20, 30 years at this point. How the
Yeah.
fuck do these two dipshits not know who he is?
Yeah. I thought that was pretty silly. I was like, are these guys literally started today?
And then you've got that one kid who looks like the ageless kid from Game of Thrones guiding the kid
Yeah.
beyond the wall. And how the fuck does he not have any peripheral vision to find that Batman is literally like to his
Yeah.
left?
I was like, dude, he's literally in the corner. Dude,
Like-
how have you not seen this? Hello? Can
Maybe-
you see?
I was gonna say maybe he has tunnel vision like Corin, but that's no excuse.
Maybe. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
But
Or we can always go back to time travel. That
oh,
always
it's the
works.
Flash.
That actually happens in this movie at one point, though, doesn't
True, the Flash is responsible for something in this film,
it?
but
That's all I could think of when I watched this movie, you know?
oh, the Flash at it again. But yeah, so knowing that Batman is a thing, and later on we see in the precinct as well in Gotham that they support Batman. Why is this guy shooting at Batman?
Yeah. And he's like, oh, I saw him. It's like, why did you shoot at him then?
Yeah. That being said, I do like how he's like this fucking otherworldly creature that just kind of crawls out into the darkness. I'm like, I love that
Yeah.
aspect.
The way he crawled away, I was like, this is straight up a horror movie now.
Yeah, it's like Darkness Falls, but with Batman, and I'm like, oh yes, please.
Yes, it was. I was like, creepy.
But then, okay, also, I do not buy for 1 second that if your partner shot at you with a shotgun, that you'd be as chill as this
Yeah.
guy's partner was.
He was just like, you nearly took my face off. It's like, yeah, I nearly killed you because he was an idiot with the gun. You'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's like,
Like, you'd be a bit more angry like you've just nearly been shot in the face with a shotgun.
it's like, at least a punch. You know, it's like, the fuck are you doing, you idiot, kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
Or at least chew him out verbally, you know, like even if, I mean, you are on duty, so just lay it on him, you know, like fucking
Yeah.
hell, gun safety is a thing. Exercise it.
Yeah.
And this is where we first get introduced to Batman branding people in this world.
Ooh, I know.
So,
Again, straight up horror movie.
yeah. And in concept, I don't have an issue with him doing that. But when we get later on into the film, I have a lot of issues moving forward with that thing.
Yeah. Like,
So,
I get what they're trying to do with the whole branding thing. They're trying to be like, look, he's genuinely gone a bit psycho.
mm,
But at the same time, I was like, Batman doesn't brand people. What the fudge?
or at
Yeah.
least, if it's branding them in a way that it's code for the police or something like that, I'd be cool with
Yeah,
that. But the
that would
context they
make
use
sense.
in this film is like, Batman, do you want to talk? Because you're being contradicted right now.
Mm.
Yeah.
Batman, you have issues. We know this. But
So, the next scene is of Lois Lane coming home, and based on the framing, it's after she comes back from Africa, and I'm wondering,
yeah,
why wasn't she a part of the trial in Congress with the African woman? Because she would be a really good witness to have in that moment, but she's not
yeah,
there. So she's
yeah. 'Cause that's
arriving.
true.
Yeah, it's weird because the woman is testifying in Congress, but she's shown arriving now. It's like the order of scenes is weird, but then we can't have her being shown coming home earlier because then we'd naturally be by default wondering why isn't Lois Lane here in Congress because she's a witness. So
Yeah.
either way, they done goofed.
Mm. I agree. I have nothing more to add.
Cool, cool. So now Lois runs a nice bath. I wouldn't mind a bath myself, to be honest. She's drinking wine, and this is the first, well, not really the first time, but this is when she really has a look at her notebook.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, it's
Have you
been.
never looked at it before?
I know, right? It's like, is this really the first time you're thinking, oh my god, there's a bullet in my notebook? Like, you.
Yeah.
Come on! This can't be the first time that she's doing it, but it is.
I don't know. I don't know. It just makes no sense. I mean,
Yeah.
or maybe she forgot she had a notebook. Maybe it's like she hit her head somewhere and she's got amnesia.
She's like, oh,
It's
I
the
forgot I
Flash.
had a book. And the Flash stole
It's
my
the
book.
Flash.
It
But
was
all.
really funny though. I was watching it, I was going, ah, yes, I too. That is how I look at all of my notebooks, like I've never seen them before.
Well, I think it's gonna be part of the what we watch lore. When all else fails in terms of trying to figure out what happened,
Flash.
was probably the Flash.
Yeah. We have so much lore for a podcast, it's great.
I know, right? It's fantastic. Someone's gonna have to compile a wiki. It's like the what
Yeah.
we watch lore.
Yeah. We got Harry from Wonder Woman 84, we got the Flash causing trouble.
We got OD and AD.
Yeah. We got things existing.
Yeah. Oh god. So she picks up the bullet and thinks, "Oh my god, a bullet!" And Henry comes home with
Stop it.
flowers, ready to cook things for his missus, and it's like, "Ah, Henry, you deserve so much better." Like every time I see this man smile, I'm like, "Ah, why aren't you in better films?" And yeah.
Oh,
Now,
that face.
I love how they're trying to humanize him in this moment because we didn't really get that in the first film, oddly
No.
enough. But yeah, they're talking about what happened in Africa, and even though they're talking about what happened in Africa, nothing is actually being said that develops the narrative because they're talking about, oh, I want to know what happened. And it's like, well, we were both there. We kind of know what happened. Yes, but the audience doesn't know. We gotta explain it to
To
them.
talk about it, yeah.
So, yeah, it's like they try, is all I'll say, but they don't try. It doesn't work, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, it's just.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
go on.
Carry on.
No, no, go
I was
on.
just- we're talking about the he gets in the bath with her, doesn't he, at one point?
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Adorable
I was
moment. Shows the two of
adorable,
them.
but I was like, it is very adorable. I was just like, if he did that to me though, I'd be like, you can fucking clean the bathroom, mate.
Genuinely, I was like, oh, this is a cute moment, but you know what? Like, you're flooding the place. You know he's gonna get in the
Yeah,
cracks. You're gonna have to spend time cleaning it,
it's
and you,
gonna be damp. I
yeah,
was like,
something
I
might
would
get
punch
clogged
him.
up. It's like, it's just me going, oh, what a mess you've created. And it's like this nice, wholesome moment of the two of them showing affection towards each other, and there's me
Yeah.
going, oh, but it's gonna get dirty, man.
Yeah. I feel like that's how that's something I ruin romantic moments with. Like, like the whole if someone tries to sweep anything off the desk, I'm like, no, I need that. If that breaks, I'm gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, it's like that was exactly where I wanted it, and now your
Yeah.
butt cheek is on it. Why? Oh,
And he goes in with shoes as well.
And he's got clothes, and I'm just like, oh, just no. All of that is just not It's romantic in the film, but if that really happened, it'd just be like, this is just so not comfortable.
it's like you are you are doing laundry for a month. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I was like, you could have, like, just, I don't know, done anything else except climb in the bath.
Like, practically speaking,
Like,
it's
just
not
smooch her.
great, but romantically speaking, it is nice.
Yeah, I'll give it that.
But you know what's really interesting? We're at 26 minutes.
Ooh, we're flying through this movie.
I know.
Well, the start of this movie. I feel
We'll
like later on we're gonna have more issues with it.
yeah, like so far, comparatively speaking, this is the film we've had the least amount of issues with so far
Yeah.
at this
Yeah.
point in time. Because
Mhm.
by the time we got to this point in Wonder Woman 84, we were already at like 2 hours or something like that.
Yeah, because Wonder Woman, even the first Wonder Woman, there's like the beginning, like the flashbacks that they're annoying.
Yes. I know it's like what we watch is we've got our hot takes. Wonder Woman, not good. Batman v Superman, the most cohesive so far.
Yeah.
Uh,
Who'd have thunk it?
I know. And we do explain our reasons. We may
We
take
do.
days explaining them, but we do
Yeah.
explain them.
Reason.
So next we get introduced to Batfleck and Alfred in the Batcave.
Alfred!
Yeah! And I think I like the fact that Alfred is working on Batman's armor, testing out the voices, because one thing I do like in this film more than the Nolan films is the voice modulator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason for his voice being deep. Like, in the other one, it's just like, dude, why are you putting a voice on, you weirdo?
I know apparently it was Christopher Nolan's choice to have that as well, despite people telling him, but I'm like, oh, so
Funny.
even Christopher Nolan can make a mistake. But it's inconsequential in the large grand scheme of things. I just really like the fact that they paid attention to that particular aspect of Batman. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we really need to make sure that you're disguised, so we gotta fix your voice so that no one knows it's you. So the fact that they paid so much attention to it is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And also this conversation is really cool as well because it's cool, yes, because of the interaction and the chemistry that these two have. But in terms of
Yeah.
narrative, how we spoke about the branding earlier, how long has Batman been doing this, and is Alfred
Yeah.
just figuring it out?
Yeah.
Because you can't have it both ways. It's got to be one or the
Yeah,
other.
it's like, has he just started doing it, or has he been doing it for a while?
And according to the film, he has been doing it for a while. So
Okay,
Alfred
well, yeah.
bringing it up now is like, Alfred, why haven't you not known about this before?
Yeah, like he could have said branding again, are we, rather than started branding, have we, or something, whatever he says, I can't remember.
Actually, yeah, that would have been cool. It's like, I thought we agreed we weren't going to do this anymore, and it's like that could have led to the "we were always criminals" moment.
Yeah,
So-
that would have even made it more impactful, because they would have been like, oh dang, he's been doing this for years.
Yeah, and that's him owning up to it. and Alfred's still like, look, you're kind of going down the wrong path, bro, kind of thing going on, which still happens in this one, but
Yeah.
the fact that Alfred didn't know before this moment brings Alfred's writing into question.
A little bit. Like, I feel like they're just like, they have to have someone trying to call out Batman on his behavior.
Hmm.
So they're like, we'll have Alfred do it. But it's like, Alfred has known Batman since he was a child, so I think he would have known if he was branding people.
Absolutely. And if he already knew and he was bringing it up, it's like, okay, branding again, like that could have really led itself more to the development of Bruce, Batman as well,
Yeah.
because like, oh, this is someone who is really going off the deep end to the point where he's not even listening to his moral conscience, which is Alfred.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Could have done with some tweaking. But I do
Yeah.
really like Alfred. Any scenes with Alfred in, I'm just like, yeah, okay.
It's just
I'm
an
happy.
automatic win.
Yeah.
But it's like I love that scene where at the start of the scene where Bruce is like, "Oh, you're getting slow in your old age," and Alfred just goes, "Happens to all of us. Even you got too old to die young, not from a lack of trying."
Yeah.
I was like,
just love how sassy he is in this. I also love how, like, loads of times he's just like, just go settle down and have some kids, please. It's like wishful thinking.
and in the party where it's like, "Oh, maybe some Metropolis woman can make an honest man out of you." In your dreams, Alfred. Just like,
Yeah.
fucking hell. He's kind of savage in this film. I love it.
He is, I love him.
I also like the ending monologue he gives to Bruce as well, talking about the cold sweat, the fever, turning good men cruel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
yeah.
very good. Just all of it's good.
But yeah, and it's also here that we find out that Bruce is looking for something called the White Portuguese,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
helping track down KG Beast. So, the plot thickens.
Oh.
And next we get to Mark Zuckerberg,
Eh.
or as we like to call him, Jesse Eisenberg. But
Yeah.
because I don't know
Doing
what
Jesse.
the fuck he was doing in this film.
I feel like in this film they were trying to make him like the Joker, and it pissed me off.
Like, I can see what they were trying to do, like the
Yes.
millennial entrepreneur, and I'm like,
Yeah.
cool, I'm good with that.
Totally.
I'm fine with that. But this performance is so spastic
Yeah.
Yeah.
that I can't really, like, if this a bit later on, but even in the gala when he's doing that speech, I was like, fucking hell, I am cringing for you right now.
Yeah.
Please stop.
Yeah, like a lot of times I was like, you're speaking far too fast. Slow down. And also like just add, I don't know, he's just all over the place, and it's very one note. It's very look how manic and crazy I am, and it's like there's no menacing. There's no look how smart I am. He's supposed to be like really smart and really like menacing and evil.
In a way, to me, he was reminding me a lot. By the way he was speaking, he was reminding me a lot of the Riddler.
Yeah.
Oh
I
god,
got
yeah,
them
Jim
vibes
Carrey.
too. Yeah, definitely got them vibes. But I was like, this is just, like I say, it was just one note. Not.
Like,
not
if we
good.
got to see two different versions of Lex in this film, like one, the public persona, which is the happy,
Yeah.
energetic guy, and then in private, he's like the fucking calculating one, like Gene Hackman
Yeah.
was, I'd be cool
Yeah.
with that.
That would be fine. But like this version, it's just like cringe. A lot of the stuff that comes out of his mouth, you're just like, will you just shut the fuck up? Like, villains work when you like, oh, they're so cool, but I hate them. This one is just, I hate you. You're
Yeah.
not cool.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks
just-
because
yeah,
there was a really good setup as well, because you're getting some sort of motivation. It's like, oh, his dad grew up in East Germany waving flags at tyrants and stuff like that. Okay,
yeah,
so we could have had something where Lex Luthor is going out to Superman because power and what he can do to the world based on what he's done to Metropolis.
Yeah.
His kind has done to Metropolis rather. So we could have had that. But okay, I've seen this film a few times, but I want to ask you guys, but based on what you've seen, what is Lex Luthor's goal and what is his motivation?
Okay. So it seemed like he was determined to make everyone hate Superman, and that seemed to be it.
Okay, so his goal was to make sure everyone hates Superman. Would you agree with that, Ilaria?
Yeah, although I have to say that it was very poorly explained.
Oh yeah, it was. It was very convoluted and like, why?
Cool. So, what is his motivation? Why is he chasing this goal?
I have no idea because it doesn't really say. It's just like, I hate Superman. And it's kind of alluded to the fact that it's like, oh, you're a god and you're really bad and I know you're bad and you can't be good because you're all powerful or whatever, blah blah blah. And I'm like, there's just a lot of words to say, I just hate you.
Absolutely. Now, that's why I was incredibly disappointed moving forward because this scene with Elastigirl in his lab was really. It could have been the setup to something more where it was like, oh, Lex's dad grew up with tyrants and then now
Yeah.
he's worried he might have to live under a tyrant, and that could be the motivation as to why
Yeah.
he wants to defeat Superman as much as he wants.
Yeah.
But then it just kind of shifts and changes to the point where it feels like, oh, he's just a fan of Batman and Superman wanting to see what would happen if the two of them fought.
Basically.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Whereas in like the comics and the various animated stuff that's come out, Lex Luthor, the big thing with Lex is that he hates the idea of Superman because he's worried humanity will become too reliant on him, causing us
Yeah.
to stagnate in progress. So if anything, he wants humanity to do well so that we can stand on our own 2 feet instead of relying
Yeah.
on a god figure.
See, that could have been very interesting, and it would have been a bit similar to, how with the Marvel Universe, you got Thanos, and you can kind of understand his reasoning behind why he wants the Infinity Gauntlet. With this one, it's literally just, I don't like you. And it's
Or-
like, but why?
Maybe even rather than Thanos, maybe an evil Iron Man, because what's his goal? Save the
Yeah.
planet against everything.
Yeah.
And this could be the evil Iron Man where he's trying to protect the world from everything
Yeah, that would
without
have
the
worked.
morals.
Yeah, that would have
It's the
been
at all
pretty
cost,
much,
at
yeah.
all cost, rather than having a line to cross.
Yeah. Did anybody notice that it looks like Jesse Eisenberg's about to cry in most of the scenes?
Yeah, I know.
Hmm.
I did. I was like, it looks like he's about to cry. Like he, it's actually quite comical, and I was just like, it's such a shame because I have nothing against Jesse Eisenberg as an actor. I liked him in The Social Network. I just think I don't think he makes a good Lex Luthor, and I
At all.
think I get why they choose him, but I don't think it worked at all.
At
He's
least not
just
with
got
this script.
no, and there was just no menacingness to him at all. Like there were some lines that he said, and I was like, that could be quite menacing, but he says it in such a manic and insane way that it
I
just sounds
know.
hilarious, and it's like that could have been menacing if you had have just like toned it down a little bit and stopped being one note. God damn it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I really don't like him in this film.
I don't think I know
agree, I
many
mean-
people that do.
Yeah, he's by far my least favorite Lex.
Yeah. Definitely
Yeah.
bad.
I'd go so far as to agree with you.
Okay.
There's not many Lex Luthors I dislike, but of the ones I do dislike, this is the one at the bottom of the pile.
Yeah. It's not good. And unfortunately, it is almost copying the way Jared Leto's Joker was bad.
Oh my god, I can't wait to see Jesus Joker by Jared Leto in
Oh my
Justice League.
God.
I cannot wait.
I saw that and I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Oh, like, do you know, like, I'm really looking forward to Justice League. I am, like, as much as I have so many issues with this, I am a fan of Zack and his work, but there's just a nagging part in the back of my brain that's going, what if it's worse than the original from 2017? Like, how fucking soul-crushing would that be?
That'd be awful.
And there's
I think
4 hours of it as well.
I think it might be the case
Oh.
Yeah. I
they're
think Jesus.
promoting it way too much.
Yeah, I think Jesus Joker is definitely going to be very cringy, and like it's already was cringy. The other like the version in Suicide Squad was just so cringy, and like now you've put him in a Jesus costume, it's gonna make it so much worse.
Oh, it's gonna be comical. That's what it
It's
is.
gonna be hilarious.
Oh my god.
Oh.
But yeah, 4 more days at the time of this recording, so yeah, not long to go. So
But yeah,
yes, they are at LexCorp, and they're talking about creating a silver bullet just in case they need a contingency plan, which
yeah.
I'm fine with.
I thought
Um,
this was an interesting. It was like a clever way of manipulating them into doing what he wanted.
Exactly, I thought the exact same thing. It's just a shame that it wasn't.
Yeah, it's just a shame that he wasn't menacing and or even charismatic. He was just manic. All over the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
So he talks about, it's like we need to be strong. Like, this is where like shades of Lex were this scene, where it's like, we need to be able to be self-sustaining. We need to be able to control these things just in case they go out of control and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, we're getting
Makes sense.
shades of Lex. Cool.
Yeah.
But then we have this, after he's done talking to Elastigirl, he's talking to Politician Man. And starts like, okay, so what do you want? Like, access to the Kryptonian ship, Zod's body, and all sorts. Bless you.
Thank you.
And I'm like, does this guy have the authority to give him all these things without
Yeah.
letting anyone else know?
This guy was just like, sure, whatever you want. Do you want a pony as well?
But I do love the music here. It is so
Ooh.
good.
I do like the music that plays whenever Lex is like doing something bad or on screen. I'm like, I like this. This is a good. This is on par with the Wonder Woman theme tune. I like this.
It's so operatic. I love it. Like, this entire soundtrack is so good. It's just a shame that the
Yeah.
film's not that great.
Yeah.
Oh,
I feel like Lex Luthor's character definitely harmed it a lot.
yeah. Definitely. In more than one way.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Goes into the Kryptonian ship, starts experimenting on Zod's body, and then he starts cutting off his fingerprints. And I was like,
Yeah. As you do.
why?
Yeah.
Because
The-
that was.
I-
Go on.
Sorry. I was gonna say, I do love how he walks into the ship in slow motion. That time I was like, did it really need to be in slow motion though? Really? Anyway, carry on.
I suppose, because you could think of it as like Lex Luthor feeling self-satisfied with himself and stuff like that, just, and plus with the music in the background, just really emphasizing his status in power and stuff. So, like, the slow
Yes.
motion to emphasize all of that, but could you have executed it without it? Possibly. But, yeah, this is the first time since the opening where slow motion was a thing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't think it was needed. I just thought it was just used to try and make it look cool. Which is fine. I
Yeah.
just was like, if it was me, I wouldn't have had him walk in slow-mo.
But that body of Zod was pretty decent.
Was that CG or did they actually get
No,
the actor
practical.
back? Oh, that's cool.
They built a fully shaped
Zod body.
Michael Shannon. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
Okay.
cool.
Props to the props department.
Yeah, it's like there's a shocking amount of practical effects in this film, which I was like,
Awesome.
whoa, I didn't even realize that was practical. And the things which I thought were practical was CG. I was like, the visual effects in this film were stunning.
Well, if you compare it to the other films, for sure.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, it's not much of a standard in that case. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm still amazed that flying animations in this film are better than any of them in 2021 when the new Wonder Woman came out, and I'm like, that's impressive.
It's like
How
that is one
it's
thing
gone
I do.
down.
That is one thing I do love about Zack Snyder. Like he puts his all into his visuals, so even if the story's naff, it'll
The
look
visuals
great.
look good, yeah.
And even Man of Steel is like 8 years old at this point, and the flying in that is still better than things coming out today.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh well, anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so next we have this isolated scene, well, segment of a scene where Lex Luthor feeds a Jolly Roger to the senator.
Oh yeah. I'm just like, why?
Just, it's an isolated scene as well, so you could have just cut it all together and nothing would
Yeah.
have been different about it. So why have it here in the first place? It is so confusing.
Yeah. Like, were you trying to be like, oh look, he's literally got control over him.
But
He's just
then
feeding him a sweet. But I was just like, even that is a stretch.
and
Why are
this-
you giving him a sweet?
the senator, you can't just close your mouth or move away. Like,
Yeah.
no.
I was like, why is this here? Like, what does this serve? Please explain. I am confusion.
Regardless, next we have Henry at home cooking his fake eggs.
Yep.
Talking.
Oh, they are so fake.
I know.
Wow.
Look at me as I cook my plastic eggs. They look like the kind of eggs you get in like a toy. You know, like if you
In
get
the
like
home
a
bargains
toy.
toy section.
Yeah. I think I actually had these eggs when I was a kid.
Oh my god. But yeah, topless by the way, so you get to see
I should do.
all of Cavill, which
Yeah.
I don't think this scene is in the theatrical cut.
wasn't it?
I don't know.
Because
Oh no, it was. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try to fill in as many of the extended scenes as I can, but I haven't seen the theatrical cut since 2016.
Okay. I actually was reading a review and it has a list of them, so I will get that up and check it accordingly.
Yay! But this is
They're
a
for
real.
sure edited in a different way because now I'm basically scrolling through, and the egg scene is before Lex going into the ship.
Oh, which time? I guess is the question, because he first enters, he first gains access to the ship before the egg scene. But the first time we actually see him
The one we
inside the
just
scene.
discussed, the one. No, the one we just discussed where he gives the candy to the other guy.
Yeah.
That's after the egg cooking scene in the theatrical cut.
Is there?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Ooh. Interesting. I didn't remember that.
I don't remember anything from the theatrical.
I've only seen this version for the past 5 years, so yeah, I only saw it in the cinemas, the theatrical cut. Ever since then, as soon as it was available on VOD, I was like, extended cut, here we go. So yeah. But I think this scene with Henry cooking the eggs, quote unquote, is really interesting because the woman on the TV, the African woman from the Senate hearing, was talking about asking Superman how he decides who to save and who not to save. And I thought that was a really interesting question to ask because,
Yeah.
and even if we ignore Africa altogether and go through the Metropolis fight, you know, it's like so many people died and collateral damage happened. You could have still reframed that question to how could he save these people but not others? You know, like why did he do such a shitty job in Metropolis in the first time round?
Yeah. I liked it because it kind of reminded me of, you know, when in I think it's Iron Man. No, it's Civil War. Yeah, Civil War. Where someone comes up to Iron Man and he's all
Yeah,
like, "Hey, I saved," and she's like, "Yeah, but you killed my son," kind of thing, and that puts him in like a, "Oh God,"
yeah.
kind of mindset. I was like, I thought that was kind of cool, but I don't think it was done as well
Oh yeah, absolutely.
here.
Like Civil War is so cool because it utilizes Iron Man 3, Avengers 2 in such an interesting way that it makes them relevant to the overall story.
Yeah,
Especially that moment with the woman talking about her dead son in Sokovia, I think.
yeah,
But yeah, here there's a really interesting thing that could happen with this conversation, but if only, and we kind of get a payoff to it in the actual Senate hearing, but we don't really get to see Clark try to explain himself. It's
no,
always under our assumption, like, oh, this is why, this is why, this is why. Like, to
yeah,
hear his perspective would have been really interesting, and we never got it.
yeah. I mean, he could have spoke about it, and then like, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
then we could have had the explosion happen.
imagine if the Africa segment wasn't there, and we go from the destruction of Metropolis straight to the Senate hearing, and Superman is on trial, or something like
Yeah,
that,
that would have
and
been really cool.
him trying to defend himself, or something like that. But we don't.
No,
And then we get back to Wally, who
Wally.
is less than pleased with the fact that Superman is being praised as a hero when he is a cripple with his family gone.
Yeah,
So decides to do false hero on his statue, and I'm like, should like I get what they're trying to do with Superman here, where they're trying to portray him as a hero and having a statue in memoriam, but I would have preferred if there wasn't a statue. So a lot like in Avengers Endgame, where they had the memorial for the people who were dusted, they didn't have statues of the Avengers or anything like that because it was such a horrific event in the context of the world. So, how do you feel about the statue being here, Ilaria?
Um. Okay. So to me, it felt a bit. Okay, I get it. I get it. I mean, Superman, big hero and everything. So of course you make statue out of for him. But what I didn't like is it almost felt like a memorial, like for the victims. So if, in my opinion, it was a bit uh, not very respectful of the victims because he was, in a way, put there as an idol.
Hmm.
Um, so and then he was the bigger thing in the space, and then the names of the victims were just in the back, in very tiny compared to the statue. So I can understand putting there a statue of someone who's regarded as a hero,
yeah,
but also I think the victims should have been bigger than the statue, or at least more
Hmm.
visible than the statue.
yeah, definitely. Sorry. Yum yum.
Cool, cool. So I'm not the only one.
No.
I missed some of that because Mikey came in again.
Oh no, that's fine. We were just talking about having Superman statue in the memorial for the people who died in the
Yeah,
Metropolis attack, and whether
yeah,
it should have been there in the first place or not.
definitely not because it's like kinda caused the victims, and I mean he's been put out in front of them, so maybe have a separate statue away from the victims, you know?
Hmm. And this is right in the middle of the fact that there are so many people who are against Superman as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
I'm
like,
surprised
go on.
I'm surprised no one tried to vandalize it before now.
I
Yeah.
know. um,
And I mean, I love the fact that the police officers were just like, calm down, like
Like,
just
dude,
just let him do it.
crippled. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, okay, we can't assault him because he's crippled and we'll look bad, but we gotta do something. So I like the fact it's like, what are we meant to do? What's the procedure here? Because we don't want to look bad, but we also gotta do something.
I would argue that's an unrealistic portrayal of police.
Sure.
Oh, but he is a white guy, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Bazinga. But yeah, so now we're getting a lot more people's perspective, and it's like, oh, it's like you guys are idolizing this guy, but is he really all that great, kind of thing. And I like that they're asking this question, especially after the events of Man of Steel. So far we're getting a lot of questions thrown at Clark, but we never actually get any of the perspectives, any of his perspective of what happened or anything like that. It's all, like I was saying earlier, we're led to assume because we know what happened, but we don't get to hear him say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't get to refute or explain or even apologize.
Hmm.
I think this is all part of the we are expecting you to watch the other films and
Yeah.
to know what is happening, maybe even read the comics and all that kind of stuff.
It's
It's
not
like they're
even. I wouldn't even say that. I would say it's the writers expecting us to fill in the gaps
Yeah.
with our own
And
theories.
that can work sometimes. Like, it's fun to theorize about stuff, but that only works when it's like stuff that I don't know how to explain it. Like,
Okay, so for instance, let's take Blade Runner. Is Deckard a replicant or not? That's an interesting
yeah,
question to ask that you never get the answer for.
but
yeah,
it's
The
fine that you
original
don't
film, at
get
least.
to.
But
Yeah,
in the context of the film, it's inconsequential. It's a really interesting question to ask.
yeah,
Whereas here, it's related to the narrative, and that's
yeah,
information that is not given to us. So, because we're left to theorize, we don't actually get a character answer, we only get a theoretical answer, and that's very unfulfilling.
yeah. I was trying to think of a way to explain because I know there's tons of things out there that have theories behind them, but it's like if you watch the thing and you don't know about the theory, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's genuinely fun for like fandoms to get together and come up with their own theories because it's kind of like having their input as well. But like in this case, yeah, it's narrative, so just you need to explain.
Absolutely. Next, we're back at the Daily Planet, and Clark is being told that he is covering football.
Football.
wow.
Woohoo! So interesting.
So yeah, this is also where we get Perry White going, "Oh, is the love affair with Superman over now because they're televising Wallace Keefe getting arrested as well after
Yeah.
Yeah,
spray painting the statue." Now Clark is visibly taken aback, and I kind of like this reaction Clark has because he's really seeing himself as someone who's trying to do good, but people hate him, and seeing that confliction in him is really interesting from like a character perspective.
yeah. I like it as well. It's I would have maybe like that to be explored more
Hmm.
in a way, because I'm sure it would have been a much more interesting film if we saw more of that inner conflict, of that, am I doing the right thing, of that, how do I improve to not be both the hero and also the villain of the story, because of course there's a lot of collateral damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than um, talking about if it's the right thing or not, maybe a question of am I doing enough would be a little bit more interesting,
Yeah,
because
you're right, yeah.
am I doing the right thing is kind of like what Man of Steel tried to do in a very balked way, because killing
Yeah.
kids in a bus is okay. But yeah, maybe because the destruction of Metropolis might be weighing heavily on him, maybe it's a question of is he doing enough would be an interesting question to explore.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
So he goes to Gotham.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he...
And
Oh, sorry, go on.
apparently the investigating what Batman's been up to is an extra thing.
This scene coming up is extended cut
Yep.
because none of this was in the theatrical cut. So right after he gets the assignment from Perry, he goes to Gotham and goes
Okay.
to see if he can find the African woman who spoke at the Senate, but couldn't find her in her home because she hasn't been back in a while. So ends up talking to her neighbors for a bit as well, and this is where he finds out just how ruthless Batman has been with the branding and all of that.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
Which would then set up why he's like, oh my god, Batman needs to be stopped.
yeah. So
Yeah.
this is him starting his crusade on, okay, we've got Batman here and he's doing some crazy shit. Shouldn't we be doing something about this kind of thing going on? But all of this entire conversation he's having
Mhm.
with the neighbors is just ripped out of the film, and it is vital in the
Yeah.
context of the story because it shows us Superman's perspective as well.
Yeah. And that's really important, I think.
I love how Zack Schneider never gets to tell the film he wants the first time around.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Because
Oh, dude.
if I'm because Dawn of the Dead had an extended cut, 300 didn't, Legend of the Guardians didn't, Watchmen had 3 cuts.
Did it? I didn't.
Yeah, because there's the extended cut for Watchmen, which is like 3 hours long, or just over 3 hours long, and then there's the full-on cut where he integrated everything Watchmen that he directed into one cut, which is like nearly 4 hours long.
Bloody hell.
It's good. It's an evening, but it is actually good.
I may
Like
watch it one day.
one day, no rush. It's not going anywhere. But yeah, Soccer Punch has an extended cut. Man of Steel
I need to
doesn't.
watch that.
It fills in a lot actually, the Soccer Punch one, and there are some
Oh,
really cool sequences. Like there's a musical segment in the extended Soccer Punch,
Oh
and it's
wow.
pretty
then I've seen
awesome.
it. Then I've seen the extended cut. I wasn't sure if I saw the extended cut or not, but I do remember the musical sequence.
Yeah, with Oscar Isaac and Carlo Gugino singing on stage.
Oh,
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
so
yeah.
cool.
I think they actually have that song in the credits, don't they? If you
That's
watch the
what they played over the credits, yeah.
yeah.
But you see
Cool.
all of it in the actual
Oh, nice.
Schneider cut.
I didn't know about this because I haven't watched or thought about Sucker Punch in so long, but
Until me.
yeah, I
But
actually really liked Sucker Punch. I just kind of forgot about it.
fair. Like I think I told you this last time, but Soccer Punch and watching that film is what made me go, I want to make movies for a living. So I'm
Yeah.
here because of Zack and Soccer Punch. Make
Oh,
of
that's
that what
nice.
you will. But
Thank you, Sucker Punch.
but yeah, I think out of all of Zack's films, I think only 3 of them don't have extended cuts. All of his other films have had to be cut down because of requirements. And it's like, oh, one day, well, thankfully, we're getting Justice League, which is exactly how he wanted, so, well,
Yeah.
hey.
Oh,
I mean, 3 years after its release, but hey, better late than never.
I mean, at least we're getting to see it.
Hmm.
I really hope it's good though, because it's gonna be so bad, like
Oh,
disappointing if it's like bad and we've just suffered through 4 hours.
I know. Like, at this point, though, just makes sense, and you'll already be one of the best DC films since The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Oh. But, yeah, oh, next, Bruce Wayne is in Fight Club.
oh yeah.
And he tells the fighter that he is pinning for to do the bob and weave and duck and dodge and dip and diving and all that, and he ends up winning and gives an appreciative nod, and kind of cool, but that's about it. All of this is primarily to get close to the KG Beast so that he can copy his phone so that he knows exactly what the White Portuguese is, where it's going to be, and stuff like that. Or rather, where he is going to be in contrast to the White Portuguese.
Yeah.
No real issue with that scene, really.
No, that's a scene, and it does serve
Exactly as it's intended to do, so yeah.
Good job. Very good.
We're at 40 minutes, by the way.
Woo! We are
Woo.
flying through this.
I know, right?
See, I mean, it's bad, but at least it's kind of making sense.
It's coherent. It's weird, isn't it? Like, when it's coherent, we're like, oh yeah, like we have minor issues.
It's making sense. That's bad when you're like, the bare minimum is impressive.
I know, fucking hell. Whew. Next, we're back at the Daily Planet, and this is in the theatrical cut where he's explaining, hey, why aren't we doing anything about this Batman? And Perry White is incredibly dismissive.
Yep.
And I'm like,
He's
Perry,
like,
do you want eyes on your paper or not?
Yeah, it's literally like, no one buys the paper.
Okay, then do you want clicks on your website or not, man?
Yeah.
Just come on.
Yeah.
Batman
It's like,
sells.
Yeah, Batman's interesting.
And
You silly man.
halfway through this conversation where Perry is constantly dismissing him, and he doesn't really give a good reason as to why he wants Clark to lay low and not go after the Bat.
No, it's just kind of like, don't. Bad. No clock.
So, yeah. Next, halfway through this scene, Lois Lane comes along and says, oh, hey, she found a bullet. And it's not great, but I love how when she comes in, she's like, oh, crime guys have never seen something like this before. Perry just kind of grabs it and says, it's a bullet. You shoot people with it. I've always liked that line. And his delivery. Like, Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne just gives no F's right now, and he's not in the mood.
I did like that line.
Yeah. But again, there's a story there, and Lois is passionate about it, and she's telling him there's a story here, and he's just not responsive beyond that point. It's like,
Nope.
Perry, you're an editor. Your people are bringing stories to you. Why aren't you looking at them properly?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's like,
so
have you checked out, dude?
Now, I'm pretty sure this is extended material as well, but after Lois leaves, Clark is asking Lois why she didn't tell him about the bullet. And
Yeah, it's not here.
yeah. So she's like, hey, I didn't want you to worry and stuff like that because I was doing this. I wanted you to focus on, getting your shit in order and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, in terms of developing character, kind of important. The two of their relationship.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Okay, just because... this is just something I've literally noticed. And I'm gonna send you guys a screenshot so you know what I'm talking about. So, Jay Oliver
Oh.
is the guy who directed a lot of the Batman animated stuff. So
Hey. He's a
Yeah.
sports writer.
so yeah, he directed the Dark Knight Returns films. He directed Assault on Arkham. So
Oh no, that's nice. That's awesome.
so yeah, and he does a lot of the storyboards. He did quite a bit of the storyboards as well for the live action stuff. So the fact that I didn't even notice it till I just paused on this frame just now, and that just kind of made me smile because Jay Oliver's really cool.
It's very cool.
So
That's a very cool Easter egg.
yeah. And it's cool that there's a GCU jersey right next to it because it's like, oh hey, because he directs the Batman stuff. Haha. Cool. Okay, so that's kind of weird. Like
Neat.
that would be something that's really interesting world building because you've got someone in Metropolis supporting GCU in a Metropolis newspaper. Like there's a story there.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
like a
he
Man
could be
United
like Superman.
fan having a Man United shirt in a Liverpool football club. You know, you just
Yeah. That would not last long if that was the case, though.
yeah. So really interesting there. Anywho, we get back to Lexi.
Lexi.
So this is the scene where Elastigirl is talking to Lexi in his father's room.
Oh, this bit.
Yeah, so metaphor aside, there were hints of Lex here
Yeah.
when he's kind of threatening Elastigirl, but again there were shades of it, never really committing
Yeah.
to um, proper Lex Luthor, hey, I can own you if I want, but I'm choosing not to
Yeah.
kind of thing going on.
Yeah. And then there was sort of a tiny hint of I don't like gods because, God let my father beat me up kind of thing.
Yeah.
That would have been very interesting if he'd have elaborated a little bit more, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Rather than just my dad hit me. I don't like gods. Like I'm not saying that I'm just saying it would have been a bit more interesting if he was like, yeah, well, nobody was there for me when my dad was hitting me, so why should we let Superman just walk around? Something. I don't know. There's something there. I just don't feel like it was.
they try to connect it all together
Yeah.
in the helipad scene with Superman, where
Yeah.
he's like, "There was no God to stop my father from beating me up,
Yeah.
so God's not good." God's his whole
Yeah,
tirade about
yeah.
that. So they
Yeah.
try,
They
but
try, I
the
guess.
the character development towards Lex Luthor is really bare. So as a result of that, when he gets to that moment, which is clearly an emotional climax for him, we
Yeah.
it's not really all that impactful because the writing hasn't really developed him as a character all that much, besides just being
No.
spastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my Elastigirl is fantastic in the scene.
Oh, I really liked her in this scene, especially when she was like, "Yeah, call it whatever you want, but I mean, it's
I'm not
still
gonna drink
bad."
it. Just the granny
Yeah.
speech tea. Oh my god, that pays off later, and I'm like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Um, but between her and Lex, she just commands the room, and I'm like, fucking hell, like she should be more things.
Yeah. She really should. She's a good actress.
And plus, she's got like a really unique way of speaking as well,
Oh yeah.
so it really
You
helps her stand out as well.
Yeah, you can tell who's speaking with her voice because her voice is it's very unique.
Very distinct, it stands out.
Hmm.
And plus, she's
Yeah.
a good actor, which is a
She's
She
fucking
is.
bonus.
I really enjoyed her in most of the scenes she was in, and I was actually a little bit sad when she dies later on.
I
Spoilers.
know. Like, it's really cool listening to Zack Snyder in his commentaries because it's like, we wrote this part because I was desperate to work with Holly Hunter because I think she's a fucking genius of an actor. And I'm like, oh, that's
So
kind of cool.
cool. That is so cool. Like, duh.
Oh, so, yeah, like, I'm so glad she's in this film because she is fantastic. Like, most of the casting, save for Lex Luthor, pretty spot on in these
Yeah,
films.
I have no problem with any of the other casting choices. It's just Lex Luthor in this movie.
But yeah, she declares to him in terms of narrative that she's going to be blocking his import license. So this isn't in anywhere in the film,
Ugh.
but bless you.
There you go.
But what I'm guessing Lex was trying to do was that trying to have the government's backing in terms of creating a, well, silver bullet or a contingency plan when it comes to Superman,
Yeah.
just so that he'll be legally in the clear. But if not, he could just sneak it in anyway as a backup plan. I guess that's what they were trying to do with it, It was just so poorly communicated.
Yeah.
And then,
Again, there was opportunity for menace, but we didn't get menace. We just got manic.
another word with M, just not the same meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, also, did you guys catch the subtle metaphor between the demons in the painting and the angels and flipping it
Oh,
upside
yeah.
down?
Yeah.
Did you
Super
get it?
subtle,
Did
yeah.
you get it?
Smacked me over the head with it a bunch of times. I was
Like-
like, I get it, Zack Snyder. You want the god symbolism. Stop it.
Like, it's about as subtle as Godzilla fighting King Ghidorah. So, right, so next we get Batman in a dream sequence going to visit his parents' tomb.
Yeah.
And it's really, there's a personal thing, but I really love how behind him are the ruins of Wayne Manor, almost as if like every aspect of Bruce Wayne has died and this is just Batman now. And it's just a
Yeah.
matter of just how morally culpable is Batman rather than how much of a human is Bruce Wayne.
Yep. I like that too. I think there's
Yeah.
a slow motion bit in this bit as
This
well.
is the slow
Yeah,
motion
there
bit.
And the slow motion bit where he walks when he's outside in the field with the flowers in his hand.
Yeah.
If it had a different color grading, it could have been a shot of a wedding video.
Oh my god, and then we need a canon in D minor playing the background.
Yeah.
Why is it always when characters are walking towards something they have to be in slow motion?
I don't know.
Because that just seems to be what happens a lot in this movie. Guys walk towards something and it's done in slow motion, and I'm just like, okay with the slow motion.
Yes,
Maybe
but that's an epic walk.
yeah.
It's an epic walk, but I'm just like,
Or maybe just Zack Schneider maybe has a past as a wedding videographer and he really likes slow motion. So he's
That would be
very nice to
amazing.
it.
I like it when it's used like sparingly. When it's used a bunch of times, it just kind of gets old for me.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah.
I do get what you mean, though. But you know what? So the Waynes died in a certain year. So, based on this information, knowing that they died in 1981 and Wonder Woman 1984 happened in 1984, well, imagine if Bruce really did ask for his parents back and Wonder Woman convinced them, now bro, you gotta be honest with yourself. Like, I renounce my wish,
God.
and then the parents die
Yeah.
again.
Oh no!
Oh my
Oh
god.
no!
Wonder Woman 84 is a funny film. It's just...
I can't believe it won a feckin' award. Just
Oh,
why?
yes. Ilaria. Wonder Woman 1984 got the Kids' Choice Award in the Nickelodeon
Are you
Awards.
kidding? For real? Wow.
It didn't deserve it.
Like, I don't care. Like, even the Nickelodeon Awards, like, nah, it's too much praise.
Yeah, but against who was he nominated?
I don't know.
I'm gonna have a look.
Oh my god.
I'm shocked. I'm just like, what?
But, yeah, oh my god. Like, that just kind of shocked me finding that out.
Yeah.
So,
Found it.
oh my.
I can't see the nominations though. Wait, why did it do this to me?
Damn it, we need answers, internet.
Google, don't fail us.
You can do it, Google. We believe in you.
Oh, so it was against Sonic.
What? Sorry.
Doolittle, Hamilton, Mulan, and something called. I'm probably not pronouncing this right, but I'm gonna try. Hubie Halloween.
Oh.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that
the
was a
Nicolas Cage one.
Adam Sandler one,
Oh,
isn't it?
Adam Sandler, sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Seriously, it beat Sonic. That's surprising, because out of all of them, I would have said Sonic was the better of them.
I get why a kid might not like Hamilton,
Yeah, that makes sense.
but okay. Okay.
I'm so confused how Sonic didn't win.
Kids are weird, man.
Yeah.
Who votes for the Kids' Choice Award?
I
Was it
genuinely do not
actual?
know.
Was it actually kids, or
Yeah,
was it people? Was it people like pretending to be kids? I don't know. I don't
Oh
know how it
my.
works.
That turned dark.
Conspiracies. No, that's genuinely surprising.
Ah. This dream sequence also a kind of horror-ish moment where
Yep.
you got the man bat coming from,
Oh, I like that bit. Yeah.
yeah, kind of like how Batman is infecting his every fiber of being. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god, like no wonder you need to medicate yourself with sex, drugs, and alcohol. Fucking
Yeah, it
hell.
makes sense. I liked it because it kind of reminded me of in the video game you encounter Manbat, and it's like they just randomly when you swing over to a building, it's just like
It's just
hello.
there. Like, oh
It's
hiya.
very, it's very good.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like Bruce Wayne's house.
Nice house, yeah.
You know, with
It's nice.
the lakeside, the glass.
Mm.
I just really like it.
Yeah.
I think the first time I realized I like houses like that is when I watched The Lake House with Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves.
Oh, that's a film. Like I love that film
I love how you started that with that's a
It's a
film.
film.
because that's a film. Like
This
it's
is
so
true.
confusing. But
It is indeed a film.
I really liked it as well. I haven't seen it in like 15 years, but I really like it.
I
me
don't
too.
know if
But
I've seen it. Why not?
I'm afraid of rewatching it
Me
because
too.
Oh,
I don't
um,
want to change my mind.
that
maybe we should talk
and
about it.
oh my god, and another Keanu Reeves film. Now that we're on the topic, was it Sweet November with Charlize Theron or My
Which one?
November?
Oh,
Sweet November.
um, I've heard of it, but I've not seen that.
Let me see how it was translated in Italian. Because sometimes now it was translated as Sweet November, like it wasn't translated, so I have not seen this one.
Okay, it's got Jason Isaacs, Charlize Theron, Keanu Reeves. Oh, and the Lex Luthor from Smallville, Michael Rosenbaum, if I'm not mistaken.
Ah,
So hey, it was a tangent, but it's related.
Aha.
So yeah,
Alfred is back.
Alfred is back,
Yay!
absolutely, and being sassy as ever. Just
Yep.
talking. I love how he's like, oh, well, I guess you're drinking the wine. It would be nice if the future generations had a wine cellar. Not that there
Yeah.
will be any future generations. It's like
Yeah.
Savage Alfred is best Alfred.
Yeah.
Just
I
love
love him. It's like he's a grumpy dad who's like, "Give me grandchildren."
Genuinely. Oh. Now this scene is kind of interesting in a way because it's kind of like implying that there are times when Bruce Wayne is the better way to go, and Alfred is trying to remind him of that. That there
Yeah.
is a balance to this, like there
Yeah.
originally might have been, but Bruce Wayne is just so hell bent on putting the suit on and going out without really considering all of his options. So
Yep.
I like that, but I'm not a big fan of the fact that, oh, the answer fell onto their laps in the form of an invitation to Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
So that's kind of disappointing. But beyond that, I do like the exploration of, okay, hey, look, sometimes you gotta be you and not Batman in order to get something done. I thought that was a really cool thing to address in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely very good. God damn it, Zack Snyder, just go and make a Batman movie, please.
I know, right? My God. Like, I would love to have seen Ben Affleck direct a Batman film that he was going to do. Because,
Yeah.
fucking hell, like, The Town, love. Argo, love. His version of Batman, I love. Putting it all together, fucking hell. And he had the script, that's the worst part. It's like, oh, fucking hell, Warner Brothers. Just fuck off.
Yeah. Kinda.
So, once he found out that he has indeed been invited, we get him getting ready. So, there's this moment just before he starts getting the shower and stuff like that where he's looking at the Batman suit, and I'm like, ooh, really interesting. I really wonder what's going through his mind, you know?
Yeah.
Like, on the one hand, he's dependent on it, but on the other hand, might be seeing it as a curse kind of thing. So, would I really like to explore this aspect of Batman a little bit more. And then we get to see that he's also lost Robin already, so
Yeah.
guy's just even grumpier than he already was. And after that, we get a really... This in the extended cut, by the way. We get to see we get to see Ben Affleck's ass in the shower.
We get what?
Oh, really?
We don't know
Yeah.
why it's there, but yeah, you get to
Ilaria,
see
you missed out on butt.
Ben Affleck's
Yeah, I'm gonna
toned
Google
buttocks.
Because reasons.
I love how in these films, Zack is like, we're gonna sexualize the fuck out of the man.
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah, fair enough.
Okay. Sure.
You do you, man. And then he gets an Aston Martin, a classic DB, and he's just like, oh, so good. And drives all the way past the original Wayne Manor to the party. Right. So,
Party time.
I like that we get to see Ben Affleck. We get to see
Nice
Bruce Wayne.
Bat Ben Affleck. Sorry, I just saw. I just YouTubed it. Nice Bat Ben Affleck.
Oh my god! I wonder.
I mean, it is a nice butt.
It's a nice Bat.
Hi guys, welcome to the podcast where we talk about butts.
Ben Affleck's butt, to be specific.
In particular, yes.
But I wonder, because in the 90s, when him, Matt Damon, Kevin Smith, they were all making films together starting out, Kevin Smith made a film called Mallrats. And in that, Ben Affleck's kind of insult name that everyone's given him is Buttman.
Oh.
Because, like,
Alright.
it turns out that he played a really abusive character in that film, and he likes anal. So everyone called him Buttman. So I wonder if this is a reference to Mallrats where we get to see Ben Affleck's butt.
Could be.
Could be.
Only Zack knows. I wish I could
Yeah.
ask him.
That's one of the questions you'd ask him. Why was the butt included?
Maybe it's like, maybe Ben Affleck wanted it. Maybe it was nothing to do with Zack. Who knows?
He's like, I want to show off all the hard work I've been doing. People deserve to see my ass.
I mean, to be fair, in his workout scene later on, he was ripped in this film.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, party scene. That's where we're at the moment. And something I don't like about Clark Kent in this scene is that he doesn't know who Bruce Wayne is. And that's like a reporter telling you that he doesn't know what Jeff Bezos looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like,
Like, how do you not know who that is? You've been living under a rock?
I mean, it doesn't matter how handsome you are, but hey, come on, dude. So I kind of wish they changed that to it's like, oh, what's all the
that's Bruce
commotion? And it's like, oh, it's Bruce Wayne. He hardly ever comes to these things. That's why everyone's surprised. That would have been a little bit better, because.
Yeah.
But no, it's like, oh, who's that? Just generally, it's like, oh, that's Bruce Wayne. It's like, how did you not know?
Yeah.
And this is where we get that spastic fucking speech by Lex Luthor,
Oh god, yeah.
which it started out one way and it just kind of devolved further and further till he was just twitching on stage. And I was. This is the one scene in this film where I was just cringing hardcore.
I was just like, is it over yet? Is he done?
I was embarrassed for him.
Yeah, I was like, dude, this may possibly have been your worst role ever. Run away. Run far away and never come back.
Oh, also, this is the first time we get to see, well, in the continuity of the release dates of the films, we get to see Gal Gadot for the first time.
We
Yeah.
do. And I absolutely love all of her outfits in this film. They're just
Agreed.
I want all of them.
Oh, she makes everything look good whenever she's wearing them, and I'm like, how the fuck do you manage to do that? Oh, but
I genuinely was just like, I want the gold dress that she wears later on.
The one thing I thought about the dress was like when she turned around, I was like, "What? No sword, Diana? How come there's no sword?"
oh my god, yes.
Oh, I know, right?
Oh, but it's like, it's weird how this Diana is so unrecognizable from the previous two
Yes.
Dianas. Not because
Yeah.
she's grown or anything like that, but because she's just written differently.
Yeah. In this one, she's so cool and interesting, and I'm just like, yes, I want more of this. And then you get Wonder Woman, and you're just like, God damn it, you failed.
Genuinely, this film got Wonder Woman so right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This film genuinely made me excited about Wonder Woman, and then I just didn't get around to watching it when it came out.
Yeah, I mean, let that sink in. Zack got Wonder Woman right, and from everything we've talked about, Patty didn't. That's kind of
Yeah.
mind-blowing.
That is crazy.
But even when you listen to him talk about it, even when you listen to the two of them talk about it, like, there's so much passion and enthusiasm when he's describing Gal Gadot and her playing Wonder Woman on screen and how she's embodying this character, you know, when Zack is talking about them. But when Patty is talking about him, it's like, oh, like, yeah, it's like she stands for truth and justice, and like, that's something I can get behind. And I'm like, so like every superhero ever.
Yeah, like all superheroes stand for justice.
Yeah, and it's like, oh.
Usually why they get into the superhero business.
But then when Zack is talking about it, it's like, oh yeah, it's like she's really cool because she's a fighter and she loves to fight, but at the same time she wants to save people, but she's really compassionate. She's like the best of the two, and it's like, holy shit, like that passion is so missing in Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
That I'm like, fucking hell, man. Like, say what you will about him, but he pours all of his love into his films.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he hasn't, up until Wonder Woman, I think he's had a bit of trouble portraying women in his films.
It depends. Portraying in what way? Because
I don't know, like heavily, like a
Is it
lot of the
the
time.
clothing
it's
that they
y-
wear, like overly sexualized
No.
stuff.
I mean, he does over sexualize them a little bit, but like a lot of films do that, so that's not necessarily something against him. It's more the fact that he writes a lot of his characters with like tragic backstories, and that's why they're strong, and that's kind of something that I've noticed he does a lot.
That's mainly something that's in Sucker Punch than anything else. Because in Dawn of the
Didn't
Dead, the lead character is a woman and she's just a
Yeah.
nurse, but she's so fucking awesome because she takes
yeah.
command, takes charge, tells everyone what's what, and stuff like that. In 300, Queen Gorgo, who is just fucking baller, played by Lena Headey,
Yeah,
who's just
doesn't
like,
she have?
I am a queen, fuck you.
Yeah, but isn't she like abused like when she was younger or something?
No.
Or I might be getting mixed up there. I don't know.
Yeah, like as far as the film 300 is concerned, like maybe in the comic she was, but in the because I haven't read it in a very long time, and who knows what Frank Miller's done. But in the film, she was just someone who Leonidas married, and she was just a queen through and through. like standing up to
Ah.
men left and right when men are like, "What's she doing here?" And she's like, "No, fuck
Yeah.
you! I give birth to you." It's like fucking hell.
Yeah.
Legend of the Guardians, plenty of strong female characters there.
Yeah. I don't know. I think maybe I got mixed up. I haven't watched 300 in a while, so
4K version of 300 is out, and I'm so looking forward to watching it.
I'm interested then, you know, when you're saying like think about it, Zack Snyder got Wonder Woman right. Why are you surprised by that? I'm
Yeah.
just interested.
No,
No, I'm
because
like I want to know like why, like
like when you typically think about it, you know, it's like, oh, like Wonder Woman is such an interesting character, and you assume that someone like Patty Jenkins, who's directed Monster, would get
yeah.
a better depiction of Diana out of her
Oh,
than Zack
okay.
Snyder
So
would.
it's just
That's what
like
I
in
mean.
comparison. I get you. Okay.
You know, because I've loved all of Zack Snyder's female characters, but I was just really shocked that Patty Jenkins couldn't get the most out of Diana Prince. That's what I mean.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, it's quite shocking. Then again, I'm pretty sure she doesn't understand feminism.
I mean, not going into Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah, apparently not.
But Ilaria, what's your thoughts on all of this? Like, I'm open to being wrong about anything that I've said so far.
Yeah.
So,
I need to rewatch Zack Snyder movies because I think I have had a misguided disliking of his characters. So
I mean,
I am happy to admit when I'm wrong.
taking into consideration this is coming from a guy, so how you see it may be completely different from how I see it.
Yeah, but that's my point. Like, I think I need to go back and watch the movies before I say anything against the female characters because I'm not remembering 300 very well. So,
Yeah, I don't remember his films very well, so I prefer not to say anything as
That's
of
fair.
now because I really don't remember them well enough to say yes, they're they're this way or no,
yeah.
not this way. No.
Sweet, that's fair. But yeah, what was the point we were on? Oh yeah, Wonder Woman's introduced, and she's a different
Yeah.
character to the other two films.
Yeah, just set us off on a tangent because
Yeah.
it's so disappointing to see the character basically butchered in the following movies.
Oy. So now this is a really interesting sequence because we got Bruce Wayne doing his thing with the mic in his ear, talking to Alfred and getting the data. And you know, Wonder Woman is there, so you've got a rogue agent. Meanwhile, you've got Henry Cavill, who is also there doing his reporter job. You know, figuring out, oh hey, Bruce Wayne, what are you up to? What are you doing here?
Yeah. Can you hear him talking to, like, Alfred talking to him?
Yeah, because he's got really keen hearing,
yeah.
so that's what.
I was just double checking that's what, because I was like, can he hear him? Or am I just like,
Yeah, so that's kind of.
I don't remember it. That was a power.
That's fine. That's fine. That's why I kind of like the fact that he approached Bruce Wayne and started talking to him about Gotham later on. But like, ooh,
Yeah.
because he knows he's up to something. So what's his perspective on all of this? One thing I really didn't like is how Mercy just leaves Bruce Wayne in the server room, even though she told him where the bathrooms were.
Yeah, like I was expecting her to like follow him out, like go on then. But she was just like, okay, bye. It's like, damn it. You're supposed to be like second in command. You are not just gonna leave some randomer there if they're not supposed to be there.
Yeah,
Or maybe
especially if it's
that's
from a
the reason-
competing company.
Yeah, or maybe that's the reason why Lex then leaves her in the building when it's exploded.
Yeah, you just let Bruce Wayne walk around.
But then
Get out of here.
that would not make much sense because Lex Luthor wants Bruce to find out everything he wants. So
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
that's why she left him. Maybe it was like, oh, you're supposed to be in here, actually. Bye.
So this is why, like, what Lex does and what his motivations are, what his goals are, they're so malleable in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get a little bit more of sassy Alfred talking to him through the mic.
He's like, go find someone to settle down with. Wishful thinking.
I want my grandkids, Bruce. It's like,
Yeah.
but we're not related. I don't care. Like, oh, okay. Now, finally, Lex's speech ends. Thank God.
Finally.
And I'm not gonna lie, this interaction between Clark and Bruce was fascinating. Because on the one hand, you've got Clark Kent going, hey, you know, Batman's kind of being a dick, and then Bruce just going, oh, I mean, you got Superman, what's your excuse?
Yeah. And then you got Luther. Hi.
Yeah, it's like
Basically being a fanboy.
absolutely. And if Lex Luthor could have been written a little bit more consistently, this could have been a really good third wheel to enter into the equation, because you've got this very volatile third figure bringing these two power players together, and it's like, ooh, so we've got three really powerful individuals in their own right in a conversation together. Like, this could go anywhere, but it doesn't. But everything leading up to that moment, you know, them talking about how the other is being a hypocrite without really understanding that the other is who they're trying to fight, that's a really cool dynamic.
Yeah.
Right. So after that, Bruce Wayne goes back down to get his USB stick, and Clark Kent follows him this time round. And I wish they continued on to the point where Clark confronts Bruce in some capacity instead of having to be taken away to save someone else. Like, save people, yes, absolutely. I'm glad he's saving people in this film, but the timing of it was so disappointing of it, because there could have been a really cool confrontation between the two of them in the server room.
Yeah.
Also, Wonder Woman kind of made me laugh here, because she's waiting for Bruce to see her and then walks away constantly over and over again. Do you know what though? Like, as she's walking away, I would have really liked to have seen two very different personalities from them, rather, where Wonder Woman just kind of glides past her obstacles while Bruce is just kind of going through his obstacles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So emphasizing character through motion kind of thing going on. But we don't.
Yeah.
And then she just zooms away, never to be seen again, till like an hour later. And now we've got a really good, really slow-mo montage of Superman saving people while people are talking about Superman saving people.
Yeah.
Now, I love the fact that Superman is, oh my god, copyright, I can't play all of it in one go, but Superman is dragging the ship across ice and it has already tipped over, so I'm like, I mean, who are you really helping at that point anyway? But there's something interesting that could have been explored here. I mean, besides the Jesus symbolism going on all over the place, almost as if these are the things that he has to carry, much like the cross in his road to whatever it is, that the crucifixion and shit like that going on at the end of the film.
I mean, like this screenshot that you just shared in the chat, that's basically the same posture and everything as Jesus is depicted carrying the cross in majority of paintings.
Absolutely. Or if you're a fan of film Passion of the Christ by Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's almost as if like he is carrying his burden on the way to the crucifixion. So there's a lot of imagery that's saying Superman's gonna die in this film, bro. Oh, spoiler alert, by the way.
Yeah.
But all while he's doing this, helping out people left and right, you've got a lot of humans just going, "Oh, hey, like, is he a good thing? Is he a bad thing? Should he exist? Should he not going on? You know, basic human stuff." And I was like, I'm glad we're so now we've gotten Batman's perspective, cool, and we're getting the human perspective, cool, but we still haven't gotten Clark's perspective.
Yeah. Like, Clark doesn't really get a perspective in this movie. It's just like, he bad.
Yeah, because like Batman
Like, let
sees him,
let him prove he's not.
yeah, and he is through his actions, but it's like we
Mhm.
understand that Bruce sees him as a villain, and then we've got the humans going, it's a 50-50 kind of thing, but it's not balanced out with Clark going, look, I'm a good man, please believe me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, in a way, I'm actually really glad that we're not really talking about, oh, it's minor things. We haven't really spoken about, like, a 20-hour diatribe about, holy shit, there's a bad plot point, like the previous
Yeah.
films. Because we're at the hour mark at this point.
Oh wow, we whizzed through this.
I know, right? Like, this is the fastest we've gotten to the hour mark out of all of the DC films, and that's kind of mental.
Yeah.
Okay, so little bit of a nitpick, like, how the hell did Superman know that the rocket was gonna explode?
Mm.
Like, was he
The
waiting
Flash.
for
The Flash.
the Flash?
The Flash told him.
Absolutely. Okay, so one thing I don't like is this moment where there's the flooding and the people have got the S symbol on the roof of the house. A, how they get so much paint onto the roof in the first place in such a tight spot, and B, in this
You
moment.
actually,
Oh, sorry.
sorry, but you actually see the bucket of paint and it's very tiny. So
I
I
know.
painted all of that.
It's like, oh, they got swept up by the waves. Question mark. But it's like something I don't like in this segment is that while initially it started out with him smiling, saving the girl from the burning building, like with each progressive act, he becomes more and more apathetic towards helping people. And that's
Yeah.
something I'm of two minds about this, and I want to know which side you guys lean more on. On the one hand, I guess you could argue that it's him getting beaten down emotionally because people constantly keep questioning him and wondering if he's good or not. Or B, he's reverting to Man of Steel, Superman, where he's like, oh, for fuck's sake, the world's against me kind of thing going on. So, because of where it is, what do you guys think about Clark's behavior in this sequence?
I think it is supposed to be like, am I doing the right thing again? But it's like, we've already had that kind of thing go on. So maybe it is just more, he's just apathetic. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Fair enough. What do you think, Ilaria?
I don't know. I mean, for once, I think it could be that he is kind of getting all this criticism and taking it, and this criticism is taking a toll on his mental health,
Yeah.
and so he's kind of doubting himself, and I think these opinions of other people are kind of controlling maybe how he does things. So I think he's just suffering from bad mental health at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Because I'm of two minds about that, and it's really cool that the two of you have got like one of each. So, yeah, very interesting. Now, I must use the loo very quickly, so I shall return momentarily. Talk amongst yourselves.
We will. Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're speeding through this.
we are. In comparison to Wonder Woman, this is much. It's taking much less time to get through.
Yeah, we did 1 hour in 1 hour of film in 4 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean we still have a bunch of things to go through, but
Yeah. We're doing good.
yeah, we are.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Are you excited about watching Justice League?
Yes, I'm curious more than anything, and but I do think because it's 4 hours, I'm gonna take my time. I'm
Oh
not
yeah, I
watching
mean,
all in
uh,
one go. Too
yeah,
long.
he's actually split it up into chapters.
Is
I
it?
think, yeah, I think David said it, so you can like choose which chapters to watch.
Good, good.
So
Because
yeah.
4 hours is way too long to just watch in one sit.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I'm just gonna like maybe watch an hour at a time.
Yeah, and if it is in chapters, it will be better so I actually know when to stop.
Yeah,
But yeah, are you excited?
I am excited. I'm probably gonna laugh my head off as soon as it gets to the Joker part because it's just like the trailer has him saying we live in a society, and I was just like, oh my god, cringe. And now he's in a Jesus costume, so we shall see.
Indeed, shall see. I did not like Jared Leto as the Joker at all.
No, me neither. I was like, when I went to see Suicide Squad on my birthday, I was like, this is the worst birthday ever.
Oh no,
Yeah. I was so disappointed. I was just like, oh,
it's one of those films that I enjoy to laugh at.
yeah. You laugh at it, but not for the reasons the film wants you to laugh at it.
No, I had a great time
Yeah.
watching it because I was laughing. But oh well, hopefully Justice League will be better than the one that's out now.
Yeah. I mean, at least they got rid of his god awful tattoos, but still. It looks like he ate soup and got it around his mouth.
Oh wow.
I do feel a little bit bad for Jared Leto because in Suicide Squad, I think they did cut out a lot of his scenes, but I don't think, I don't know, just the way he acted as the Joker, I just don't think it worked.
Yeah, I agree. I have great respect for him as a musician and a singer.
Yeah.
Uh, he did some good things as an actor, but not the Joker.
No, definitely not. I feel like it's done the same thing as with Jesse Eisenberg's character. It's very one note and very look how insane I am, and
Yeah,
then nothing else.
Gotta give it to him though. There's never been a Joker like him.
Nope.
no, for sure.
Maybe there's a reason why.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Interestingly though, there's a really bad comic called All Star Batman and Robin by Frank
Okay.
Miller, and there is a Joker with that's all tatted up and unfunny like Jared Leto's Joker,
Okay.
and I'm like,
What's the inspiration then?
Maybe. I didn't have a problem with him not being funny. I had a problem with him literally just being like, look how insane I am, and not really anything else about him.
yeah. And plus, I do think he took it a bit too far in terms of his preparation for the role as well, just sending his
Yeah.
co-stars all sorts of shit. I'm like, all right, you don't need to go that far, dude.
Yeah. I feel like some of them he didn't actually do, but like he did admit to doing some of them, and it's like, why?
Yeah.
You know, Heath Ledger didn't do that, and his Joker was arguably one of the best ones.
Heath Ledger's joke, like his preparation was far more hurtful towards himself, though. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
It wasn't good. I'm not saying it was good for him, but I'm just saying like
Annoying your co-stars wise.
Yeah, antagonizing your co-stars is just like, how's that helping anybody? It's just making a shitty work environment. What you doing?
Yeah.
True. Oh well. So, um, we are a third of the way through,
We
and
are.
gee, like, yeah, I'm actually shocked how fast we've gotten to this point.
I know. It's weird. There's like not too many things that are really bad about this film.
Yeah, and like even though had so many gripes with this film, I've ended up talking a lot more positives about it than I
Yeah.
expected to.
I feel like I like the extended edition a lot more than the theatrical, and I think a lot of the theatrical was why I was mad.
Oh yeah, that's totally
Because it made
understandable.
absolutely no sense in parts. But at least this, with the extended stuff, it kind of makes a bit more sense.
Yeah. Doesn't make perfect sense, but it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Hoo boy. So, he gives Martha a call and just talks about, hey, like, how come Papa Kent never left Kansas and stuff like that? Just trying to see if what he's doing is right or if he's doing enough. Should he be doing more? Should he be doing less? Really trying to figure out the Superman aspect of his life at the moment while talking to Zimartha.
Yeah.
I don't really have an issue with that conversation.
No, it's kind of sweet.
Yeah. And plus, it also reinforces just how much he really cares for Martha as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's a nice mother and son moment.
Yeah. And now we come to extended material. We get forensics work being done by Jenna Malone in this scene.
Oh.
Yes, Jenna Malone's in this film actually.
Yeah,
Oh.
she's in this film and she is a random scientist.
Yeah,
Okay.
and she was completely cut from the theatrical version of the film
Yep.
for reasons. But she's analyzing the bullet that Lois found in the diary question mark, and they're saying, oh hey, like it's a really specific metal and you can only find it in specific places, so if you find who made the bullet, you'll find who shot everyone in Africa. And it turns out it's an experimental bullet. And here Lois Lane is really shocked that people are using people as live test subjects to test bullets on. And I'm like, Lois, you're a Pulitzer Prize winning reporter. Shouldn't stuff like this be things you've covered before? Like, why are you so shocked that this is happening?
Yeah, isn't there a line that Jenna Malone says and she's like, "Oh, that's why I love you as a reporter. You still get shocked by these kinds of things."
Literally verbatim.
And I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I feel like she shouldn't be too shocked about all this. I mean, she's a reporter, she uncovers things all the time,
If anything,
so
this should be like her third time coming into contact with something like this.
yeah, I feel like that's kind of the equivalent of like a murder, a homicide detective being like, "That's a murder. I've never seen one before."
Yeah, oh my god. I don't know why I just thought of Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell from The Other Guys.
Oh,
I haven't seen that film in like 10 years.
me
Oh,
neither. And I don't think I'll be rewatching it because I really don't like Will Ferrell anymore.
I've never liked Will Ferrell. I just like that film
Actually, I
because of
don't know.
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg is pretty good in that movie.
Oh, he is a
Also, you
national
get The
treasure.
Rock. You get The
And
Rock and
Samuel L.
Samuel L.
Jackson.
Jackson together,
Oh,
so
that
I'm
is
just like, yes.
that is amazing. They died too
Um,
soon.
I know. I'm all for that. Like, I would watch a movie with those two in it.
Yeah. So more extended stuff, Ilaria. Um,
Ooh.
Woo!
I know, right? Clark Kent is actually investigating the Batman and him acting as judge, jury, executioner, him branding people, and what has happened to a lot of these people. So
Yeah.
he's doing like reporting work in this version of the
Yeah.
film.
Okay.
And
Yep.
the criminal at the start who got branded in the warehouse with the sex slaves going on, like we get to see him again in prison this time round, and he's just freaking out, going, "Hey, look, I've been branded. Please send me anywhere but this prison because the people who follow the bat are just gonna kill me."
Yeah, and then the poor dude gets shanked.
Yeah,
And
hardcore.
that is the most violent shanking I've ever seen in a film.
That's how you're supposed to do it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because a shank is only so long and so sharp, so you gotta get multiple stabs. Like, don't ask me how I know this.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah.
Who have you
But,
been shanking?
Nah, I just,
No.
I just know weird stuff like this. Like,
I
I watch a
mean,
lot of documentaries
yeah.
on these kind of things. Like, you're talking to the one fucker who noticed a sound design error in Enola Holmes because I know how shotgun operates.
That's fair. That's pretty interesting, like, attention to detail, because in most films, like, normally it's just, like, the one.
Yeah, you just hear bang.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that's standard shotgun sound. But okay, a brief diatribe because
Oh
we're
no,
on the topic.
I was talking about the shank where you, like, you
Oh,
just see
right.
them stab once, not a bunch of times. So that's an interesting attention to detail, but
Oh,
also
yeah.
an interesting attention to detail with the shotgun.
Yeah,
Noticing as well. Very, very interesting.
absolutely. Like, there's a lot of attention to detail in Schneider films. Like, sometimes not for the better. But yeah, it's always really cool when a film goes that extra mile to add realism into the world, because that just makes it a lot more tangible
Yeah,
or believable.
I have a new like appreciation for his like passion for filmmaking
That's
after
awesome.
after rewatching a bunch of his movies, and I am definitely gonna go back and watch Sucker Punch. But yeah, I have a like, and after hearing everything he went through with the whole cut of like Justice League and stuff, I have a new respect for the man.
Yeah. Like, there are a couple of videos of him on YouTube of him watching Man of Steel and BVS all the way through, like a commentary with him on screen, and then
Oh.
him showing storyboards of what his work process is like and everything, and seeing him talk, make fun of himself, joke around. I'm like, God damn, you sound like a really cool guy to hang out with. This has turned into a bit of a Zack Snyder simp session briefly,
Has a little
but
bit.
yeah. Anyway, besides my questionable knowledge of how shanking works,
Yeah,
um,
that was fun.
yeah, it's like I may not know how to ride a bicycle, but I know how to shank if you ever need it.
Good to know.
Good to know. I will come to you for all my shanking needs.
Please don't. I don't need any more implication than I already have.
Okay. No worries.
But yeah. Anyway, like we get this scene where the guy from the beginning with the branding is really panicked because he doesn't want to go into jail with a lot of other people who know what to do with the bad branding. So this brings into attention that Bruce has been doing this for a while now, and a lot of the people that he has been branding has been killed. So
Yeah.
how does Batman not know this?
Yeah.
And why is Alfred just finding out about this?
Yeah, you would have thought like it'd been obviously it'd be reported if people who were branded have been murdered.
It is reported. That's what makes it so
Yeah.
baffling.
So it's like how maybe they just don't acknowledge it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like,
I could see Bruce Wayne just not being bothered and being like, "Well, you deserved it. You're a criminal."
at least
At
this version
In
of
this
Bruce
one,
Wayne.
yeah, this version of Bruce Wayne just doesn't seem to give a shit about people. Like I
yeah.
feel like this version is tired and sick of everyone's shit, and it's just like people are dying and I can't do anything about it. So
This is grumpy old man
Cute.
Bruce Wayne.
yeah,
It's kind of interesting because he talks about how so many of his allies are either dead or bad guys, and to top all of that off, it's like, hell, there's this guy walking around this planet who could destroy all of it if he really wants, and we can't even stop it. So we're getting a lot of nihilism infused into his crime fighting, So, really interesting angle.
And yeah.
So, next, Wallace Keith gets bailed and goes home to find Lex Luthor spinning in the wheelchair, and I just couldn't help laugh when he did that. Oh,
Yeah.
I think this is extended material still, Ilaria.
Yeah. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he doesn't spin around in them. Alright, does he even like show up?
I don't know. I can't because I can't remember the theatrical cut well, but
No, I don't either.
the reason why I think this is extended material is because Wallace just goes, "Yeah, and what the fuck do you want?" And that's not a PG-13 line.
Oh, definitely not.
So that's why I'm thinking it's theatrical. It's extended cut material.
Yeah,
But
makes sense.
yeah, Lex Luthor is meeting up with Wallace, the disabled guy who was spray painting Superman statue. Bless you. And he's the one who paid bail and is giving him a free wheelchair. Yay!
Oh wow, nice.
Super nice of him.
And this is a really bad joke, but it made me giggle when I watched it yesterday, a couple of days ago. It's like Wallace just asks, "So what the fuck do you want?" And then Lex Luthor just stands up and goes, "To help you stand for something." And I was like,
Yeah.
that was just so bad.
Yeah,
But it made
it's
me
like, that's
giggle, and I'm like,
terrible.
that was so bad. Oh.
Ew.
And
I
following,
rolled my eyes at this.
oh, I know. And following this moment, we're at Elastigirl's office, and Wally does the spin move again right after. I'm like, oh Jesus! Like facing away and then turning around just as the person enters the room, and I'm like, oh my god! Like to see it back to back from two different characters was just so comical to me.
Yeah, maybe Snack Snyder was just like, yeah, I like that. Do it again, but with a different character.
Oh, but you know what I realized in this scene when she's talking to, when she enters her office, I was like, Elastigirl works out because holy shit, her arms were ripped.
Yeah.
Like, physically, like, incredibly healthy, really good looking, talented, great accent. Like, oh, Elastigirl should be in every film. I'm putting it out there.
Yep.
Like with Keanu Reeves and Jeremy Irons. Three of them
Yep.
in every film ever.
Agreed.
Yep.
So, see, I kind of wish that instead of having all of the Africa subplot, we just focus on taking the Metropolis events from Wallace's point of view as the innocent bystander. Because then, if he's going to be the one talking in front of the Senate, going, "Hey, this is what happened, and we got to hold him accountable," then we've already got the setup in the previous film.
Yeah.
And we've already got the setup for Batman in this film, so you got all the context already. There was really, when you think about it, no need whatsoever for the Africa segment because all of it has already been set up.
Exactly.
The next scene, Ilaria, is once more extended material.
Oh wow.
Ta-da.
And this is when KG Beast is meeting with an inmate in prison to tell him to kill the branded guy from the start of the film.
Oh yeah.
And this is us getting context on what Lex Luthor's plan is. Get Batman to be in such a negative light that Clark Kent will want to go after him, and have Clark Kent as such a negative light that Batman goes after him. So he's orchestrating this melting pot of chaos, and we're getting a lot of Lex Luthor's plan in this version of the film alongside a lot of Clark Kent's motivation.
Uh-huh.
And this is where we get to see the shanking. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yay.
And it happens really fast as well, and it's just kind of like, holy shit, like that just kind of happened, and I kind of get why this would have gotten an R rating. It
Yeah,
doesn't
I
show
was
any blood or
definitely
anything like that, but that action is so visceral.
oh yeah. It's not fun. I watched it and I was like, I am gonna need a moment.
Yeah. And
Also,
now,
because I've never seen this version of it as well, it came out of nowhere, so I was like, whoa.
yeah. Like, it, in certain aspects, it earns its R rating.
Yeah.
Next, we're back to theatrical territory where General Swanwick is in a restroom with Lois Lane.
Wait. Where's the restroom? Because I have this the sequence we were talking about before earlier, where there's Superman saving a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Then I have Elastigirl, and then I have Daily Planet. And is this the restroom?
Daily Planet.
Yeah, and then I have I have Diana in the golden dress.
Oh, we're not even there yet.
No.
Yeah, so I guess this is extended cut.
Yeah,
This is a
the
very extended cut.
this
Like
is
all
extended stuff.
this is half an hour's worth of extra material, and all of it is in the first and second acts of the film.
Yep.
Like the third act is pretty much verbatim what happened in the theatrical version, but a lot of what was cut was in the setup to the conclusion.
Which is probably why the theatrical cut is a garbage fire.
Oh yeah. But so this is the scene we're at the moment is where Lois Lane is talking to General Swanwick and asking him if the Pentagon is helping terrorists in Africa and stuff like that, and wanted to find a lead for the special bullet that she found in her diary. So here,
Wait, I do remember this, but I can't find it.
oh, let me see what the next scene is. So this is the scene before Perry White is going, oh hey, I found your column, there's no football, drop the Batman thing and do what I say, and Clark goes, integrity, paper.
Yeah.
Okay, I know where that is.
It's the scene in the bathroom is literally the scene before.
Let's see if I can find it.
Let me show
It's
you
not
screen.
there.
It has to be. I'm sure I saw this in the cinemas.
You're telling it to me like what you're saying. I remember it, but I can't find it.
Oh, okay, fair. That's one. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, this scene is kind of hit or miss, because on the one hand, I love their chemistry, but on the other hand, the information that is presented here is kind of hit and miss, because on the one hand, you've got General Swanwick, who is very pro Superman at the moment, and he's choosing to believe that Superman picks and chooses who to save in the context of this film.
Yeah.
And we've got Lois Lane, who presumably put Superman in that situation where he had to pick and choose in the first place. So it's a really weird scene where there's conflict, but it seems manufactured in a way where it's extending the runtime in a very forced way.
Yeah.
Because if she's starting out with accusing him, and then he accuses her, but none of that needed to be like, if they started with the next scene where it's like, oh hey General, found this bullet, what's up, going on, or something like that, it may have worked a little bit different, because they do know each other and were on pretty friendly terms in the previous films. So this antagonism just kind of comes out of nowhere for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It do.
Cute.
And I agree.
Yay.
Yay, agree.
Cool. So in that case, the next scene that we come up to is the one in the Daily Planet where Clark Kent is fighting to That is fine, Ilaria. um,
Okey-dokey.
so this is Clark Kent just saying, "Oh, hey, it's like why aren't we pursuing the Bat when he's doing all these horrible things?" And Perry White is just really fucking determined about this football match and the charity.
Yeah. It's
And
like, I really need to know the score, okay?
I know it's really weird because like Perry, you're a fucking reporter. You're an editor for a newspaper. Please just like this is something quite widespread as well in Gotham. So okay, maybe I can let it go if we're taking into consideration the fact that Batman has been active for so long and reporting on it is old news. That it's already been done. There's nothing new that they could add that hasn't already been said. If that was the perspective he's coming at it, I could get behind it a little bit more, but he never explained his perspective. He just told him to drop it. I don't know why.
Yeah. It just seemed like a random, just like, no, stop it. Just so, like, they could have Superman be like, nah, do you know what? I'm not gonna stop it. Really?
Genuinely.
What it seems like.
Yeah, because we never get a reason of why Perry doesn't want the story besides just, oh, crime in Gotham, what else is new, you know? So maybe if we guys like, oh, we have reported in the past and we can't add anything more that hasn't already been said on our side, get over it. It's
Yeah,
been done.
but-
Like that's a reason, not a good one, but it's a reason.
Yeah, that would have made more sense. This one is just like, stop it. Because I said so.
Yeah. So Clark is not exactly happy about it, but I do kind of like how Perry just goes, it's not 1938, and 1938 was the year Superman was first published. Aha!
Ah, that's cool.
So that's one interesting thing about this scene that kind of is nifty.
Yeah. I do like all the little Easter eggs he's putting in them. It's very cool.
Yeah,
It's something I'd do if I made a superhero movie. I'd try and throw as many references as I could in there.
yeah, absolutely. Like the one with J. Oliver, I didn't even know that existed until today. So I was like, oh wow, cool.
I like finding Easter eggs. It's fun.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
you are welcome.
I'm so burpy today.
Oh
I
my
haven't
God.
had Pepsi in a long time because I had a rum and coke, and that's usually the only time I drink Coke. So I'm guessing my body's like, "What are you putting in me? What are you doing?"
How dare you put Coke instead of Pepsi?
Yep.
Welcome back, Ilaria.
Thank you. I do prefer Pepsi too. I don't know if this was the conversation, but
No,
Oh no,
no.
I was just saying because I like keep burping a lot. It's because I've just had a rum and coke. Well, I say rum and coke. It was Pepsi that I had.
I see.
I love Pepsi more than Coke too, by the way. Like, anyone who says Coke over Pepsi is just wrong.
I like both, but I mean, I can see why Pepsi's the preferred choice.
Yee. Now, we are finally at that scene between Diana and Bruce in the museum.
Nice.
Oh, yep. Where he tried to do the flirty flirt.
You know what I really like about this scene? All the way until the curator meets Diana to the point where she meets Bruce, it's all a single take.
Oh,
Oh, we like those.
And it's really cool because like you get motion, you get the energy of the conversation, and then Bruce comes along and he's like, "Hey bro, what's up?"
Yep.
But what I really like about this scene is how confident Gal Gadot is as Wonder Woman in this scene.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
like
yeah.
you got Bruce Wayne just going, "Hey," just clearly trying to be the dominant force in the conversation because that's what he's used to, both as Bruce Wayne and as Batman. And then there's Diana just going, "Oh, you're adorable."
Yeah. Oh, aren't you sweet? I already knew that because he's like, "That's a fake," and she's like, "Yeah, I know."
And then there's that moment where she's walking away and she grabs her arm and she just looks at him like, dude, I
Get
could
off
break you
me.
in two, but I'm choosing to not. And I'm like, oh, it's so like, it's almost like she's accommodating him rather than the other way around, and that's a really cool flip in power dynamics.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
And then that one line where Bruce is like, I've met plenty of girls like you before, and she goes, I don't think you've ever met anyone like me before.
Yeah.
This scene is just a really cool interaction.
It is very cool because it's basically seeing Bruce Wayne get taken down a peg because he seems to think he's superior to the ladies sometimes.
Yeah, so, and then we got Gal Gadot just going, oh, hey, I was just borrowing it. It's in your glove compartment. Do whatever you want, because I couldn't get through it. So, like, oh, okay. So, yeah, I just really like this interaction. So,
Very
we got two
good.
really powerful characters talking to each other and just treating each, just Wonder Woman coming around and saying, hey, look, little boy, I'm old enough to be your ancestor. Let's not do this.
Yeah.
So, following this scene, we get him decrypting everything, and we kind of hard cut to the nightmare sequence.
Yeah, welcome to Mad Max Fury Road, everybody.
Yeah.
As much as I love this sequence, I have to wonder, why was it here?
Yeah,
Because
I was
it's
just
such a
watching it,
jarring
like-
cut.
Yeah, I was just like, why? Why?
Like, I love Batman in a post-apocalypse with a trench coat. I love seeing like his army get together. You know, I love the fight. Oh, I love most of the fight. And the reason why I like most of the fight and not all of it is because you've got plenty of people with guns, and they're choosing not to shoot Batman from range. Instead, they're going right up to his face in order to fight
Yeah.
him. That's something that
I'm like-
really annoys me in films.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, Batman carries guns now.
Mm.
That's a thing. That bothered me when I first watched it. I was like, in this one, he's like war torn, and it would make sense for him to pick up a gun, maybe. But the fact that he had guns, it was just like, that's a bit weird for me.
Yeah. I guess
And
it
I know
really...
it's a dream sequence,
I guess it really does depend because, like,
so I'll give it that.
I suppose in the context of the world, it would make sense to protect himself with firearms because you got parademons and human soldiers going after him. So
Yeah.
contextually, I get it. Then again, I'm not a massive fan of him carrying guns. But if he's gonna carry a gun, I'd rather it be in this setting.
Yeah, I mean, if it was in any other setting, I'd be like, why have you given him a gun? You do it.
Yeah.
Like, if I see Robert Pattinson's Batman with a gun, I'm gonna be like, excuse me, what are you doing?
Sparkle instead, please.
Yeah.
But you know what's cool about this fight? All the way from the time when Batman's in the truck till he snaps the neck, one single take.
He likes
Oh,
those
yeah.
single takes.
And it's I'm just really, I didn't realize how much I appreciated this film until I'm talking about this, despite all of its hundreds of flaws.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gets knocked out by Parademon and wakes up captured, and Superman has gone all tismy, probably because of the anti-life equation and Darkseid doing stuff to his brain.
Yep.
So here we find out that Bruce is either directly or indirectly responsible for Lois Lane's death in this alternate reality or dream sequence. Hence why Superman is kind of pissed with him.
Yeah. I like that because it's a little bit of a reference to what happens in the Injustice
Yeah.
storyline, because doesn't he gets confused and ends up killing Lois, and it's all because of the Joker. So he then puts his hand through the Joker's chest and kills him, and that's kind of how Batman dies in this dream sequence. And I was like, that's quite interesting that they've done it that
Oh
way.
god, yeah, that's true.
So I was like, is it a reference to that? Because if it is, that's quite cool.
Possibly. Like there were I think a lot of people saw a lot of injustice imagery in this segment.
Yeah.
I mean, Superman outright just cuts people in half in this segment.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Interesting thing that I read somewhere, or it was a video I was watching, but apparently in Justice League, Snyder wanted to have Bruce Wayne and Lois end up together.
I've heard that as well. I don't know
And
how valid it
yeah,
is, but
if that's true, I'm like, that would be just strange.
the context I've heard it in is that there was an idea that after Superman's death, the two of them were reconciling with each other and they got close over time and things
Yeah.
turned romantic. And then when Superman came back, it turned quite icy or something like that. But I've never heard Zack talk about it, so
Oh,
I don't know
fair.
about the validity of it.
Okay. I was just like, I heard that and I'm like, that's quite interesting.
Yeah, like, depending on execution, I reckon that could work. But if the writing is up to this standard, I'm
No.
doubtful.
Yeah.
But
Fair
Ilar,
enough.
oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying fair enough
Okay, cool.
to wrap
So,
it up.
Ilaria, what are your thoughts on the Mad Max sequence?
I don't know. Because, I mean, for sure, cool, one shot, whatever, but it just felt out of place where it was put in the film.
It feels like you're
Um,
watching a different film.
Exactly.
It's a hard cut to something completely different, and it's so incredibly jarring. You're just like taken
Yeah.
out of the film, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you're getting back into it, and it ends, and you're back to the original film, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Like-
maybe they were trying to see if the audience would have liked a film like this. Like, I would have watched a film like Batman meets Mad Max. That'd be
Oh
cool.
my god.
Yeah, I'd watch
Genuinely-
the heck out of that.
Genuinely, I would have liked an entire film in this post-apocalyptic universe, and Batman is just like fucking trench coated up, ready to rock and roll.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they could have shown, like, I don't know, Bruce Wayne falling asleep and then have it cut to this, because then at least it wouldn't be so jarring.
Yeah.
The implication that he's dreaming would be there before, because it's very jarring, because, like, it goes on for a while, and you're
It's
kind
a
of like,
chungus
okay,
of a scene.
yeah, you're like, okay, what's happening? And then it just cuts out of it, and it's like, what did I just watch?
Something that I heard someone say recently in a video is that this is a ripple from when literally the Flash comes back in time, because
Yeah.
what that happens literally after this segment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe it was some residual memory that he was experiencing,
Oh,
and that
that's
could be it.
interesting.
And I've never thought about it like that, but based
No?
on the placement of the Flash coming back in time and that nightmare sequence, I'm like, oh,
That's
that-
plausible.
it's plausible, but it's never explained in the film, so I don't believe
No.
it.
It's a nice fan theory.
Yeah. Like, but at the end of the day, it's a fan theory, so
Yeah.
get over it.
It's a theory, but that's just a theory.
And then, for once, it actually is the Flash's fault.
Yeah.
Where
Hello,
he comes
Mr.
back.
He came through, and my brain was just going, "Damn it, Flash! You're at
God
it
damn it.
again."
But yeah, and then his message is so cryptic, you know? It's like, oh, Lois is the key. You were always right about him. It's like, I know, I'm gonna kill him. Give me a sec, you know? It's like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna be coming back in time to tell a really important message to Bruce in about 5 seconds,
Make sure it's cohesive.
communicate efficiently.
Yeah, and also he's kind of like, "I'm too early." What?
Yeah, he's like, am I too soon? It's like, how the fuck am I supposed to know? You're the one with the cosmic treadmill. Oh. These two scenes, the post-apocalypse scene and this scene, very weird.
They are just very strange and feel very disconnected from the rest of the movie.
Absolutely. And once again, if these two scenes were not in the film at all, nothing would change.
Nope. The message is so cryptic, it doesn't really change anything because he's still like, yeah, Superman is a threat. We need to deal with him.
Yeah. It's like, oh, thanks, Sherlock. And this gets it a lot weirder because this turns out to be a dream within a dream. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh shit, we're going in full on Inception
Yeah,
here.
it's like, has he borrowed some Inception
I mean, Chris Nolan was the
isms?
producer.
Oh, that's probably why then.
Oi. And from a visual point of view, I like the interconnection of these next two scenes where Bruce Wayne is looking up everything that Lex is doing with the white Portuguese, and
Yep.
Clark Kent is looking at all the pictures of the victims as a result of the bad brandings. So, like, oh, so he's going after that target, and now Clark is going after this target, and we're seeing the investigative part of both parties. I thought that was really
Yep.
interestingly put together.
Agreed.
Oh,
Do we
yeah.
do we get that in the theatrical cut?
I'm sure you did. Did you?
Think so.
Okay.
I'm I see Bruce Wayne doing it.
um,
I'm not sure if Clark does it.
this is what Clark was doing. I'll send you a screenshot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So if this is the theatrical cut, this is probably going to be the first time you see Clark doing any proper investigative work towards Batman, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so, because the scene where he goes to the woman's house, that's not in the theatrical.
Yeah. Whoa. It's when you really think about it, just the theatrical cut really did Henry Cavill dirty and Superman in general.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But yeah, I don't really have any complaints towards the way the information between the two characters were presented. Like, do you guys have any issues with that scene?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Not that I can think of.
Sweet, sweet. So, next is the conversation between Bruce Wayne and Alfred, where Alfred's like, look, bro, I've looked after you all my life. I know when you're lying. What are you really after? So, and I really like the phrasing he used as well. It's like, oh, like you have taken to the art of lying like Mozart to the harpsichord, but you've never been good
Yeah.
at lying to me. But it's like, I kind of get Bruce Wayne's mentality in terms of going after Superman. I
Yeah.
I'm just not. I guess I'm not 100% on board with it because that is a really big assumption. Because, like, I get it. In terms of the threat level, a 1% chance is an incredible amount when it comes to Superman. So I
Yeah.
get it. But I'm just not fully on board with that reasoning, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's literally going off if it happens. It's almost like kind of, in what's the name of it? Minority Report, where they're always like, they
Yeah,
might kill someone, so we better stop them before it happens. And it's like, but it's not happened yet, and it could change.
yeah, and that
Yeah.
brings
So
up.
he's basically going off the assumption that he is going to do something, but it's not happened yet.
It almost feels like he's trying to convince himself that this is the right thing to do more than anything else, and he's trying to use any
Yeah.
logic, no matter how flawed it is, to convince himself, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. His reasoning is all wrong, and
Hmm. So I
but I
guess
mean, he is an unstable orphan in a bat costume, so
this is true. But I guess it's so far, I guess it is in character because, at least in the context of this film, because he is going after Superman in a really hardcore way, so any justification in his mind would be plausible justification. So,
yeah.
yeah, I guess it is kind of in character. Huh. Am I wrong?
Um, No, I guess so.
I think it is kind of in character. Yeah.
Huh. This film is really messing with me right now because, like, I'm spending more time talking about it because we've not really had too many complaints so far, and when I do have some issues, like I think I've turned more positive on certain issues than any of the previous DC films put together. Like that's kind of weird.
It's very weird.
And this is supposed to be the worst DC film.
No, I think Wonder Woman 84 easily takes that title.
But the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award, though.
The kids don't know what they're talking about.
Well, the critics still say that Wonder Woman, the first one, is the best DC film.
This is true.
I don't ever believe the critics. I just kind of take what the critics say with a grain of salt.
Big grain of salt.
Massive grain of salt.
In fact, an ocean's worth of salt.
Yeah.
But yeah. And I love the dynamic between the two of them as well, because you can tell the desperation in Alfred. It's like, look, Bruce, you do this, you're kind of gonna die. Please don't do this. Don't make an enemy when there is no enemy, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And seeing just how far Bruce has kind of fallen.
Yeah.
Huh. Do you know what? I think I like this scene more now than before the conversation.
Well, that's good.
Next, extended material. So this is the scene where Clark Kent goes to a Gotham City police station to find out what happened to the guy who got branded at the start of the film.
Oh, yeah.
And here we see quite blatantly that the police are on Batman's side, which makes the actions of the policeman from earlier on in the film very questionable.
Yeah.
And beyond that, it gets to the point where the wife or / girlfriend of the man who was shanked in prison gets the final items of possession because he's dead now. And Clark ends up talking to her. And it's like, hey, tell me your story so that I can, tell people about it so that I can bring more attention to it. And at this point in time, because the bad branding has been going on for so long in the context of this universe, except for Alfred not knowing about it for some reason.
Yeah.
She just goes, look, like, in this case, words aren't gonna do anything. When it comes to the bat, like, you gotta punch him.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really interesting way of looking at it, because at this point, like, when he's going so far as to brand people and act as the executioner, judge, jury, executioner, all three of them, without being the mediator that brings the criminals in and leaving it at that, letting the justice system take over. Like, I get her reasoning, because at that point, reason does not work with a person who thinks he is all three of those things.
Yeah.
So
he's going full Rorschach in this one.
Yeah, literally. And, Zack Snyder did do Watchmen, so hey.
Yep. Well, isn't basically Batman is just like considered the PG version of Rorschach?
The PG-13 Rorschach, yeah. Or Rorschach is the R-rated Batman. Whichever one. But yeah, just so you have a visual of what we're talking about. Sinned. But yeah, this entire conversation is Clark trying to find a pacifist route in order to deal with Batman, but then hearing this woman's plea and knowing that at the end of the day, even though the husband was doing such a piece of shit thing, like, to just be tried and tested and be executed on the word of another vigilante, like, at the end of the day, like, what is justice in that case? You know, like
Yeah.
there's a lot of interesting things being talked about here, and like I like that Clark is like, okay, how can I find the pacifist route? Okay, there is no pacifist route with this guy. I kind of have to
Yeah.
threaten him physically, so kind of cool.
Yeah. Yep.
And then Perry White is just pissed off that Clark is not at work, and it's like, fucking hell, Clark, I want to shout at someone. Where are you?
Yeah.
Kind of thing
It's
going
like, you're
on.
my shouty person. Where are you?
But yeah, and then he says, click his heels 3 times, goes back to Kansas, I suppose. And it's like, well.
Uh,
uh,
like,
oh,
really?
the
You're gonna
one-liners.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we are at the Kryptonite chase segment with Batman. So, okay, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm gonna send you guys a picture, and this, like, how can anyone not see Batman on top of the large fucking crane at that angle? Like, there are lights everywhere. But, yeah.
Maybe I
Isn't-
think it's a statue.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of in shadow. A little bit.
I suppose, but I guess it's from that particular angle. I guess if you're from the reverse angle, you'd not see anything at all. But I just found it so fun that none of the
maybe
villains
they're all-
notice him.
Maybe they're
Yeah.
all short-sighted.
Maybe.
Oh, that would be amazing. Oh, it's just an added scene where all the bad guys are putting contact lenses in their eyes before a fight. It's like, we're ready.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Yeah. So, yeah, Bruce Wayne is chasing after the kryptonite, and this chase, cool as it looks, kind of excessive, I'm not gonna lie.
A little bit.
Because first off, he demolishes a car and drags it through the street for a good 2 or 3 minutes before he finally uses it. And I'm like, oh, I mean, were you planning for that to happen? If so, how did you know that was gonna happen?
It's like he was like, "Oh yeah, I've got a car. I might want to use this."
So, yeah, it's like that was a really weird thing where just dragging the car for so long before using it.
It's
And then-
like Fast and Furious.
Yes.
The
The
Batman,
greatest.
Fast and Furious.
Oh my god, imagine Dominic Toretto and
Yeah.
Batfleck just staring at each
Oh,
other
that'd be
going,
cool.
family.
I'd want to see a
I
car
want-
race between the two of them.
I want to see all of the Justice League in a car race.
With the Fast and the Furious gang.
The Fast and Furious gang, and it could be like wacky races. It'd be
Oh
really
my God.
funny.
while the entire race is being commentated by Keanu Reeves,
my God,
Jeremy
yes.
Irons, and Elastigirl.
Yep. Oh,
Is
we need
Gal
to
Gadot
make
gonna-
this.
going to play two characters?
Yes.
Yes.
She can play 2 Wonder Woman.
It's like Tom Hardy
Have
in
time
Legend.
travel. Yes.
You know, where he plays
Yeah.
both brothers, only here.
Yes.
Hooray.
Oh, we should make this a film.
Absolutely. Now, a good example of excessive is one of the guys in the SUVs takes out a minigun and starts shooting the Batmobile, and
Yeah.
Batfleck proceeds to just rinse the car apart and blow right through it. I'm like, holy shit!
Well,
Like,
he blows right through many things.
oh, literally.
I will return in a moment. I just need to use the bathroom.
Of course. But yeah, like I'm one of those people where I really don't mind if Batman kills or not, depending on the circumstances. Like, this is overkill.
Yeah. and then how this ends with the slow motion of the car lights seeing Superman, and it's all slow motion and stuff, and you can see
Yeah.
Batman's face going like, "Oh shit!"
And then speeds up to try and run over him, and I'm like, Bruce, why? But okay, so Superman standing over there and just stopping Bruce Wayne in his tracks. So clearly Clark knows that something is going on here and Batman is chasing them for a reason. And there are plenty of bullets and bodies all over the place. So wouldn't you be the least bit curious to find out, oh, what's going on here? Or something like that. As opposed to just focusing solely on the bat and not what LexCorp is doing.
I don't know. I think he hoped they would kill him because then he says something about the bat is dead.
Yeah,
So
I think that's more metaphor because what I think he's wanting is for Batman to stop being Batman more than anything else, because he doesn't want people to be oppressed and all that.
Of course, but I also think that a reason why, I got that was a metaphor, but the reason why he doesn't do anything could be
right.
He's like, well, I don't care if he gets killed, at this point, I feel like Superman is kind of losing his how can I say it? His motivation for good.
Oh, okay. What do you mean by motivation for good?
I mean, like, so he, as Superman, not as Clark, but as Superman, he was trying to do good, and he was always criticized, and I think at this point he kind of, in a way, he could see Batman as his main problem, and also I think maybe he might not kind of care unless it's there are like good people involved, like what he thinks as good people, like saving someone from an incident or something like that, and I think by not seeing Batman and also the other guys as good guys, as the good guys, maybe he's not losing his motivation for good, but his motivation is shifted from saving as many people as I can to only saving the ones I think are good.
Okay, so I correct me if I'm misunderstanding, but it's like you've got two sets of bad guys, and he sees Bruce or Batman as the greater of the bad guys, and he's choosing to focus on him as a result.
Yeah.
Hello there.
I don't know. I'm just kind of making it up as it goes.
No, I mean, from that perspective, I guess it can make sense as to why he let the truck people go, because Batman is the greatest threat that he has been focusing on throughout this film so far. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's really interesting perspective. That's really cool. Right. So, yeah, we're just talking about the "Do you bleed" scene. Amy.
You cut out a little bit there.
Oh, we were just talking about the "Do you bleed" scene.
Oh, yeah, that one, and then he's like, "You will."
Yeah. So, Superman says, "Bury the bat. It's done. Stop doing what you're doing." And it's like, "Oh well, you know what? I'm not." Like, "Oh, okay, cool." So the next time we fight, the next time we meet up in this gear, we're gonna be fighting hardcore. So alrighty then.
Yeah. I do like how he was just like, kill the bat, he's dead. Like, yeah, because that's gonna get him to stop.
Yeah. Oi.
Like, hey, you stop it, and he's just like, after 20 years of doing it, going, hey, you know what, you're right, I'll stop.
Yeah, and clearly he doesn't care much for you, Superman, so... I mean, he was
Yeah.
willing to run over you, even though
Yeah.
nothing was gonna happen.
Even Alfred can't get through to him, so
Yeah.
good try though, Superman. Good try.
Okay, so where his entrance to the Batcave is now, it looks cool, but I'm thinking it's so impractical because if your car is any more damaged than it is, then you're just gonna be sinking into the depths. As opposed to actually going in through the entrance and into the Batcave, because if you're gonna be reliant on a jump off of the edge of the lake in order to get to the entrance, like imagine if the car was a little bit more broken, like he'd pretty much be stranded around the lake just waiting for a tow truck to come along.
Yeah, that'd be fun to watch.
It's just Batman waiting for a tow truck, just tapping his feet and looking at his at a Uber driver or something like that, waiting for Alfred to come and pick him up.
Alfred, pick me up.
It'd be even funnier if he was a Uber driver, because like,
Alfred is the
"Are you
Uber driver.
Batman? I'm here for Batman."
He's like, "Are you Batman? Yeah, get in. Where you're off to?" Oh, that'd be so cool. You know what?
Sorry, I got distracted. My friend sent me a picture of a red panda.
Oh,
Aw.
a
He
great
does
score.
it every day. Yeah, he does it every day. Like, just I get red pandas off him every day, and I'm just like, oh, dude, you're so wholesome. Because I put a post up on Facebook saying I was sad, so he started sending me red panda pictures now.
Oh, that's
So yeah,
nice.
there's
Aw.
a little wholesome thing for you.
Yeah. You know what we haven't spoken about so far? The Batcave. What do you guys think of it?
It's a cave.
True. I mean, like, in the sense of, do you like it? Do you not? Do you prefer it to any of the previous Batcaves?
No.
Friends to it.
And I'm just like, cool, that's his back cave. You do you.
Fair
Not how I would
enough.
decorate it, but you know, each to their own.
I don't like. I'm indifferent to it. I didn't go, "Oh wow, that's a sick Batcave." No, but
Yeah, I was
Fair
just like,
enough.
I didn't really like register it. I was just kind of like, yeah, Batman has a back cave, so
Fair enough. Fair enough. I just
don't love it, don't hate it.
it exists.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see if you had a preference for a particular Batcave or not, because we're an hour and a half in and we haven't brought it up yet, so I was just curious.
What do you think about it?
we're an hour and a half in.
Oh yeah.
80 minutes in
Oh,
to be
cool.
specific, but yeah.
Oh wow.
Good.
We're making our way through.
Yeah. Probably
Oh.
could get this. Probably will get this done in 2 episodes then.
Yeah. Oh god, that is the dream.
Well, the dream is 1 episode, but that's never gonna happen with this movie.
Not with a 3-hour film.
No.
But yeah, so Bruce Wayne tracks down, uses the microchip transponder that he shot onto the truck to find out where the kryptonite is, and it is in the possession of Alexander Luthor. And they're very self-satisfied with each other for getting the equipment there in one piece. Now, the next scene, is regarding Lois talking to General Swanwick about looking for where the bullet came from. Finally.
Yeah.
And he agrees to do so. And that's about the extent of that scene.
Woo.
Now, the immediate scene with Elastigirl and Cripple Bro calling Superman out to come to the Capitol building, I think.
Yeah, it's the capital.
Yeah, and saying, okay, we're gonna have to talk about this because that's how we're gonna be moving forward. That's how democracy works. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if this scene was substituted for Africa and the original woman talking about her statement, if this press conference was there calling Superman out, I would have much rather preferred it because we've already got the context. Let's move to consequence, and we can build up both sides of the equation, building up to the Capitol building moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that would have worked better.
Oh. See, this is why I say it's like a chocolate cake, but all the ingredients are in a fucked up order.
A little bit.
Then Lex Luthor admires the rock. And we go back to Martha and Clark talking in the farm. And Clark is very conflicted because he's been called out of the Capitol building. And Martha's like, hey, look, what we wanted as parents was for you to be able to do what you want without any restrictions and for it to be your choice. So whatever you do, I'm behind you kind of thing going on. And
Yeah.
I kind of like the sentiment. I kind of wish that Jonathan was a lot more on board with that instead of saying, yeah, you maybe could have let the kids die. Who knows? Like, oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, at least Martha was always consistent. She's just wanted what's best for him, so
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. So I don't really have a major criticism towards this scene. Do you guys?
No, it
No.
serves its purpose. Basically, you do what you think is best, and I'll support you.
Yeah. Parent-child-tisms.
This is how you parent. Yeah.
So, extended material.
Oh.
So, the woman that was testifying in the Senate earlier, she is about to go home and finds that in front of her house is KG Beast waiting for her.
Yeah.
So she starts going off on a run and ends up going to Elastigirl's office to confess that she lied in her testimony. So now Elastigirl knows that Lex Luthor set everything up.
Yep.
And also, my goodness, Elastigirl probably has arms more toned than me in my prime.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Like, she
Those are
is
some toned arms.
toned as all hell. Like,
Yeah.
fucking hell. Like, I feel inadequate looking at her.
She later on actually goes to say she can wrestle a pig as well, so I'm like, that's actually
I believe you.
yeah.
Like, yeah, because she says, I grew up in a farm, I know how to wrestle a pig. It's like, I believe you.
Yeah.
She is Elastigirl after all.
Yeah.
Very
Remind me
true.
not to piss you off.
I think Mr. Incredible would feel inadequate compared to those arms.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, during this scene, it becomes very clear to us that it was all Lex behind all of the tism in the first place, and the woman who went against Superman at the start of the film, you know, fearing for her life and all of that, comes forward and admits that no, actually I lied, and it was because of Lex Luthor. So this all happens in the extended cut. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
story. If only this was
Why
in the
were you
theatrical cut.
Yeah. It's like, why were you not there? So sad.
Yeah. And it helps make everything, well, comprehensible in so many different ways.
Yeah. It makes Luther's plan, like, at least make a little bit of sense. Not complete sense, because again, it just seems to boil down to I don't like Superman.
Yeah, like the motivations are all over the place, but at least we can understand the mechanics of it a little bit more in this version of the film.
Yeah.
So,
And
next.
unfortunately, it doesn't fix his acting, but you know.
Yeah. So, next, we've got Martian Manhunter, or as we like to call him, General Swanwick, talking about, hey, this bullet, only one corporation makes it, LexCorp. And Lois Lane goes, oh, but how did Lex Luthor know that Superman was going to come after me? And it's like, oh my god, it's because I was there. That's how they knew Superman was going to come. And it all starts coming together in her head. She's doing
Yeah.
work.
Detective work.
Yeah. And because Superman has decided to go to the Capitol building in order to face the charges and all of that, she goes to the Capitol building too. I'm just thinking, like, so far, like, things still making sense.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be saying that about this film.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I feel like the fact we watched Wonder Woman 84 before this kind of
dampened the blow.
yeah, it kind of made this one just not seem as bad.
Yeah. It's like, oh, remember in the old days, the better days. Like, no, they were bad too. It's like, yeah, but they were better.
Yeah. Like this is by no means a perfect movie or even good, but
Yeah.
I would watch this over Wonder Woman.
Oh God, yes. Like,
And probably over Wonder Woman 1 as well.
Amy, could you imagine saying what you just said before we started this arc?
No.
Like,
But
what a
this is probably
mental arc.
because I'm having sour memories from when I watched it back in 2016. Because oh my god, I was like so mad. I paid for it, and I was like, "Give me my money back."
Oi.
But I'm guessing the extended edition has changed my mind on some things.
Yeah. But having seen Wonder Woman 84 really helps put things into perspective as well.
Yes, definitely.
Now, this scene here is really interesting because we got Bruce Wayne observing everything from a third party, and we've got everything going on in the court, in the Capitol building with Superman, and everything in between. So we're getting the two different sides of the equation here. What I find really odd is that Bruce Wayne doesn't find out about the return checks until literally like that day, when he's been getting return checks for months now. It's like, why hasn't he seen these checks before today? I find that really odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's also spliced into this moment is a scene with the African woman at the start of the film going into the subway, followed by a certain KG Beast with a certain Lois Lane going the other way. And this is a really small detail, but I like the fact that KG Beast recognized Lois, so he's turning away to lessen his chances of being discovered while following the African woman down to the subway while she's going to the Capitol building. But yeah, by this point, Elastigirl knows that Lex Luthor's been pulling her leg, and they have the conversation about, being on a farm and wrestling pigs.
Yep.
Lex Luthor does his cringy dialogue, talking about America's oldest lies and power being innocent and all of that.
Yeah, he doesn't he say that earlier in the film as well.
He does.
It's almost like it feels like they're trying really hard to do like a Joker-esque thing where he's like, "You want to know how I got these scars?"
True.
It's not the same, but it's kind of sort of
The
like they're
same
trying to.
intent.
It's trying to be like his hook line. Like it's trying
Absolutely.
to be the thing he says, and I'm just like, why? Stop it.
And yeah, after this conversation with Elastigirl, he lets Mercy go into the room without him. Why? Why not?
I was just like, why not just tell her to go get him a coffee or something? She's his assistant. So he could be like, go get me a coffee away from the building that I'm about to blow up.
Or, like, maybe he found out that she didn't escort Bruce out of the room. Like, this is his way of saying you're fired.
Yeah, literally.
Bazinga.
I thought it was funny.
But yeah, Bruce is finding out that Wallace has been sending all his checks back saying, "Oh, Bruce, you've been a bit of a shit person." Ah. And then Superman arrives. And extended material, KG Beast shoves African woman into the subway and kills her.
Because he's nice like that.
Yeah, so tying up loose ends is the word of the moment, because while we're seeing the conflict between Batman and Superman get deepened, we're also seeing Lex Luthor tie up all loose ends simultaneously. So I thought, oh shit, okay, interesting. And okay, so this is just a neat pick, something that I really like, but inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. But that picture I just sent you, only the steps are real.
Oh, nice.
Everything else is CGI.
That's really good CGI.
Wow.
I never thought I'd say that about a DC movie.
Right? Like, it's all so fantastically integrated, and it's like, holy shit. Like, for all intents and purposes, I thought, oh, they just filmed that Capitol building. No, they just went to a car park, built steps, and then CGI'd it. Holy shit.
Like, how is this better than all of the CGI in Wonder Woman 84?
And some of it in Wonder Woman, period.
Yeah, like wow.
It's insane.
Yeah. That's all I have to say on it. Wow. Just how.
That was just a tidbit that I just really like about this film. Like, holy shit.
That is pretty heckin' cool.
So, from this point onward, Clark is entering the court, and this is a really, really subtle thing. But the moment when he is about to go to the stand, where he is about to be spoken to by Elastigirl, there's this one subtle moment where he grabs hold of the rails, quote unquote,
where he walks into the little flappy door thing.
Yeah, exactly, like the saloon doors.
Yeah,
is the best way I can describe them.
Yeah, I know the ones you mean.
But what I noticed this time was, like, if he's Superman, he should be able to move them with no problem. But there's a weight to it when he opens them, almost as if the guilt of, like in a better written film with better writing, of course, where his actions up until this point has actual consequence. Like him come to this moment and that heavy way he moved the saloon door would have been a really interesting way of showing just how heavily his actions weigh upon him. But it's not.
But it's not. Like he doesn't get much to do in this film really, except be blamed for everything. So I do actually feel sorry for Superman, and also like I feel bad because I'm like I don't really like Superman as a character. Like I much prefer like I don't know, I'd prefer like looking into Clark Kent as a character rather than Superman because I feel like he's just overpowered. But in this like film, I do feel sorry for how he's been treated.
Yeah, it's almost as if he's in a no-win situation. Whatever he does, it's just
Yeah.
gonna come back and bite him in the ass in one way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a small detail I really liked in Cavill's performance. Just
Very good. It's just a shame they didn't build up to it very well.
yeah. Yeah. And now we've got the Granny Speech Tea speech.
Oh.
And it's like that line from earlier came back to say hello. So
Yeah.
okay, so if it's actual piss, how has no one smelt it yet? Because that's got to be rank. And B,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
why wait till then to realize that your drink is different from everyone else's drink?
Yeah.
And then why wait till halfway through your speech to stop to look at it?
Yeah.
It's a weird,
Great.
it's a weird string of events.
Yeah. I was like, she should have noticed that before the freaking hearing started. She should have sat down and been like, "Oh God."
This is a weird little jug on my table. Who brought this? Oh no, we can't be having any of that. But her speech, the way she delivers it, Elastigirl should be in more films. That's all I'll say.
Yep, it's very good.
Yeah.
So she stops, looks at Granny Speech Tea, realizes Lex Luthor is not there. Everything
like,
falls
oh,
together, and
And
big explosion, and it's so sudden. It's
Yeah.
unceremonious, no music, nothing. It's just bang.
Boom. Yeah, everybody did, except for Superman, obviously.
Yeah, and there's just this look of Superman going, "Oh, for fuck's sake, one more thing."
Yeah, you would. You'd be like, "Come on! I came here to try and be like held accountable, and this happens. Really? I'm out."
Like, for fuck's sake, I'm trying here. And Bruce Wayne is understandably unhappy about this, and
Yeah.
goes all tismy. Oh, Ilaria,
More Tisby.
extended content.
More extended
Ooh.
content.
So, in the original cut, we don't hear of Superman for a while after this moment.
Yep.
But in this version, we get to see him help evacuate the building.
Oh
Oh.
yeah, yeah, we do. We get to see him help with people's
So,
while looking very sad. Understandably, he just watched a bunch of people die.
yeah, you get to see the aftermath of the explosion and how people are reacting and what Superman is doing and all sorts in this version. So, yeah. Why this wasn't in the original cut, I don't know.
And it's just like cutting out stuff to do with Superman, and it's weird because it's like this is to show like, look, he is genuinely trying to help.
What were you gonna say, Laria?
I have no idea. I mean, it should have been there
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the theatrical cut.
Ooh, but yes, we have more of Superman just trying to save people, and I'm all for that. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of his whole
Yeah.
thing.
Oy. But it's this moment in this film, it's really interesting because Superman is doing his best to help people, but because there are so many injured, he doesn't have the necessary skills to
Oh.
help heal all of them. And the distraught way he is looking around, this is kind of what we were talking about with Man of Steel, where he's helpless and he can't help despite all of his power. And
Yeah.
this moment is a fantastic way of showing it because he wants to help, but he does not have the expertise to help them the way they need. So he's just
Yeah, you can't.
powerless. And
Yeah,
it's,
like you can't just go and smash through a building. That won't help, really.
yeah. So it's like his he's understanding his limits, and it's so wonderfully communicated visually. And I'm like, fucking hell.
Like, when did this film get at least semi-good? What the hell?
This conversation is not going the way I expected.
No, it's not. But it's like, okay.
Oh, so next, some more extended bits. We get Alfred chopping wood and being an absolute Chad.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Alfred did the chop wood.
So, okay,
Sorry.
so yeah, Alfred chops wood and finds that Bruce Wayne has gone over to steal the kryptonite because he just couldn't take Superman being around anymore as a result of the massive explosion.
Yeah.
Alfred, understandably, is distraught at this because, well, he doesn't want Bruce to go to war with Superman.
Yep. Mainly because it's suicidal.
Yes. And even Alfred admits that, look, Superman's not the enemy here. We need to play nice. Please play nice.
Yeah. Play nice with the other kids, please.
So, and then the next scene is Lex Luthor, not a single word of dialogue, just walks into the
Yay.
LexCorp research center and finds that all of the kryptonite has been stolen, all according to his grand plan.
Yeah. So he's
We
just like,
think.
yeah, he's just like, chill, he stole it. That's fine.
Yeah, it's like, we think that's according to plan. We don't know.
Yeah. Like, did you want him to steal the kryptonite? If, you know what, why didn't you just post it to him?
Yeah, just take it and throw it at him. You'll get a nice tight spiral on it, you know? Just,
Why did he not invite him over and go, look, I have a thing that can kill Superman. Here you go.
Ooh, interestingly enough, though, during the charity ball earlier on in the film, Lex Luthor walked up to Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent, and in that moment, he did say that, oh, like my R&D is cooking up all sorts of no good. So I wonder if this is what he meant by it. But then
Yeah.
it can't have been because he knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Yeah.
I guess I was just trying to give it credit where it wasn't due.
Don't give it credit when it doesn't deserve it.
Right. So
It's not Wonder Woman levels of terrible, but it's not great either.
it's still full of problems.
Yep.
Okay, so we're nearing on 4 hours of going through this film, and we are at
Okay.
1 hour and 35 minutes. We've got less than an hour and a half left.
Nice. I'm probably gonna have to go at 11:30 because I am sleepy.
Ilaria, do you want to go for another 20 minutes and call today and reconvene, or do you want to call today now? I know it's like past midnight now.
Yeah, you can call it a day now if you want. I'm sorry, I didn't think.
Yeah, we can call it a day now, please.
Okay, sure. No
I'm
problem.
very sleepy. I have to get up.
I
early.
can tell. But okay, we'll talk about when we'll reconvene outside the stream, the
Okie
episode
dokie.
rather. But yes, we've gone through a good chunk of this film.
Uh-huh.
But
So basically, next episode will just be Batman and Superman have a fight.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've got less than half of the film to go, and I didn't expect to cover this much.
No, me neither. But I mean, I think that just goes to show. I guess we didn't have that many problems with it, or much to talk about with it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with Wonder Woman, there were so many problems. It was like one after the other, like in quick succession. Like this one, it's kind of like been a bit before we've had any problems.
Yeah. Right, so before we end this, so far in this conversation, how has your
Mm.
perspective on this film changed up until this point, or is it still the same?
It's changed from I hate this movie to I don't hate this movie anymore. But I don't love this movie either. So I guess it's
Fair.
changed from hatred to indifference.
Nice. Which is a positive direction compared to
Yeah.
usual.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because Wonder Woman went from indifference to hatred, so this has done the opposite.
And Ilaria?
I'm still indifferent, like the beginning. I don't hate it, I don't love it, I'm right in the middle.
The
Sweet.
same now.
Nice.
But I'm curious about the extended cut. That for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because so far there's been a lot of stuff from the extended cut in this film that you've not seen before, is there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I think that's what's really influenced my change towards it because with the extended stuff, it's really not as terrible as when I watched the theatrical.
Yee, I concur with that. But right, we will finish this Heaven or High Water before Zack Snyder's Justice League comes out. Hopefully in one more episode. Fucking hope for it.
Yeah.
But
Of course.
thank you everyone for watching up until this point in this episode if you're still watching. So I hope you've been having a good time listening to us, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. Thank you, Ilaria and Amy, for joining in this journey.
Anytime.
Thank you for having me.
Yay. So thank you everyone for listening, and ta ta cheerio. We'll see you next time.
Bye bye now.